Sorry. Good morning, Raider Nation. My mic was muted. I'm flying solo today. Chris has a dentist appointment that he has to go to today. He's got a really bad toothache. We were going to do it this afternoon, but he said there's probably a good chance he's not even going to be able to talk today. So I'm here. I'm going to do this solo. So before we get started, good morning, everybody. Good afternoon on the East Coast. Good morning on the West Coast. I got my coffee. This guy runs on Dunkin'. So instead of Houston, we have a problem. Las Vegas, we have a problem. We are not a good team. I know it's only 3 weeks in. People still say, have the faith, have the faith. I don't know how much faith you can have right now after what we've seen consistently for the last 2 weeks. Week one, we played against a bad Patriots team, and it's proven that they're not that good. Did we get lucky week one? I don't think we got lucky. We just were the better team that day. Last week, just marred with issues on the offensive line. This week, those issues continued. And yesterday was absolutely disgusting of a game to watch. You know, I feel bad for the fans that put all that time and effort and money into traveling throughout the country to go to the games. And I had a friend of mine that hit me up after the game. He was there yesterday. He said, he goes, it sucks that, I could have stayed home and watched this game. He goes, but the one thing that helps me want to go to these games is the friendships. I said, that's right. I said, that's the only way you got to look at it at this point when the product on the field isn't that good. The friendships you make. I didn't have to travel a lot for the week one game, but man, I made a ton of friends and tons of connections from that week, to the point where it makes me want to go to the Philly. I wish I could have gone yesterday. I wish I could have been there during all that. I mean, the turnout was huge. Raider fans showed up as we usually do, so which is why I'm definitely still going to go to Philly no matter how bad we are, because there's people coming out here that I'm going to want to hang out with and see, so, but the team itself, it's painful. It really is. It's a painful game to watch. Did I think we were really going to win that game? I thought we had a chance prior to the start. But those hopes got dashed right away. Our special teams, that's the worst I've seen our special teams in God knows how long. We let 2 returns for touchdowns yesterday. There's so many different ways to start with this, but what we're going to do first is we're going to hit the chat up, see who's here, check in with everybody, because we all know chat lives matter. So first up, Rick Rock's here. Good morning and salute to Christopher Raiders and salute to the Silver and Black Raider Nation family. What's going on? Bono's in the house. What's up? I'll hit you with this real quick. Let's get you. Raiders. Now, I know Pete Carroll's got a press conference, I think, for 2 o'clock. So what we're going to do is we're going to listen in while we're on the show here. I want to hear what he's got to say. Come on, Raider fans. It's the 3rd game of the season. We all know we weren't going to go to the playoffs this year. First year, for real. Be for real, Raider fan. No, I get that. I definitely get that. But when we had the chance to address the offensive line, whether it be through the draft earlier with our picks or do some serious free agent signings, talk trades, and the fact that we're like, yeah, Parham, he's good. Let's go with him. But let's bring in another guy that had his worst year of his career last year, but let's pay him $11 million. So we'll get to all that. We'll get to Super Omnicron's here. PNW Mark, I'm sorry, you're here too. What's up, man? Come on, Raider Jeff. Time for the post-mortem. Where was JPJ? Could have used him. He was there. Pete Carroll did say it in this press conference yesterday that he was available to play. They only supposedly put him out there on special teams, like for kickoffs, or for field goals, extra points, and punts. He wasn't out there at all on the line. But what struck me as funny is at the end of Pete Carroll's press conference yesterday after the game, he says the competition still continues. So you're still saying that Capper and JPJ are still having a competition as to who's going to start at right guard? That's what they're saying. Let me get through the rest of the chat. Let's see. Come on, I just wanted to put that because it was Accelerators here. What's up? We may as well play without a line, put 9 receivers out there and see what happens. Yeah. Need Joe Philbin is, yeah, I've been saying that all along. I don't know why that got switched around. Let's see. Yeah, friendships make it go down easier. Yep. The accelerator says the same thing. Pretty much is worth enduring. The suck. Yeah. They're going to knock someone out in Philly because I want to see that, they're going to harass you. And they can harass me. My fighting days are way past, man. I'm done with that shit. Unless you threaten my family. That's different. My wife will be with me, too, for that game, so we're both going. So, who knows? It might still happen. Hey, Sonia, how you doing? Welcome. Rosetown's in the house. Let's see. Yeah, watch his press conference from yesterday. At the very end, he says competition still continues. What the flying fuck does that mean? You mean to tell me that Capper is still just as good as JPJ or vice versa? I mean, the fact that those two are having a competition, but yet nobody's competing against Parham. Like Parham's the weakest link on that offensive line. Why is there no competition on the left side? Or why don't we do and get him out of there and move Kappa to the left, or put JPJ to the left or Kappa to the left, and whoever doesn't go to the left plays on the right? I don't get it. Why is Parham still? So there's no competition with him, but let's still have competition with Kappa and JPJ. Got it. Makes total sense. 100%. Unbelievable. Let's see. Victor E, what's up? Yeah, you guys scored a victory yesterday against Green Bay. That blew my mind how that happened. Faded 420 Penguin, what's up, my guy? How you doing, man? What a day for special teams yesterday. Oh, they were awesome, weren't they? And you can't blame Carlson out there for those, missed tackles and shit. That's not his job. His job is to kick the goddamn ball. You don't want him out there putting his body on the line to take out a player. And now your kicking game suffers if he gets hurt. That's on the coverage team. That ain't on him. Jesus Christ, that was horrible. You've been to Lincoln before? How did they treat you? I've never been to Philly. I've been to Philly. I've just never been to a game in Philly. It was funny that you said you've been to Lincoln before. I was born and raised in Lincoln, Rhode Island, but that's another thing. Let's see. Teams forget there's 3 phases to each game. Yeah, and one of them was absolutely horrible. Jaden Daniels ruled out for season just now. Torn knee ligament is at high risk. Oh, goddamn. Well, that sucks for him. I mean, I hate to see anybody get hurt like that. That sucks. If that's definite, wow. What's up, Philly, Mike? Hey, I'm coming down there for the Philly game, so don't you guys bust my balls. Let's see. What's up, Bry? Jeff, you see how bad Spillane was yesterday? I didn't watch the Patriots game. I don't watch the Patriots unless we're playing them. Unless it's the only game that's on, like it's a Monday night, Sunday night, or Monday night, Thursday night. If they're playing the same time as the Raiders, I ain't watching them. Can you play the conference audio on the right? Yeah, I'm gonna. Once he gets started, I know he starts at 2, so we will play it while we're sitting here. I won't talk during it. We're just going to listen. What's up, Ian Miller? What's going on, man? Let's see. I'm happy I told you my predictions came true. Yeah, right. Something needs to happen. So a whole D line. So yeah, I mean, I'm sorry. Where's Max? And everybody he's on a milk carton somewhere. We need to find the guy. Pay him all that money, and he just ran off. The Raiders curse. Someone put some booty. Yeah, definitely, man. Because it doesn't matter who's our head coach, who's our owner, who's this, who's that. Still the same crap on the team, man. I'm not upset. Like I'm ready to throw in the towel for the season, but the writing's on the wall, man. Just look. Just look at how this team's playing. There's no quick fix for this offense, for the offensive line, or for some of the other issues we have. You know, any fix that we have has to come from internal. There's no one out there in free agency. You know, we could make a trade, but who the fuck's going to want to trade? You know, who's going to want to trade one of their top offensive linemen if that's the case? So that shit ain't going to fly. There's a lot of blame to go around, but ultimately the O-line is responsible. O-line is just trash, man. What's up, Dub Raider? The dude just lied about Daniels. Oh, so that's not true. All right. I believe that then. I believe you. If you change your background to the Bills, you might get more likes. I highly doubt that. Not in this, not with the group that I got following me. Absolutely not. He's all over the place, but he's not what we expect from a guy that we're paying that kind of money. You know, Kuntz is invisible. The brightest spot on the front defensive line is Adam Butler. He seems to be the only one that's actually can get anything done. And Max is sacking garbage time. I mean, that do it when the game's more on the line, like at the start of the game. You know, have that impact. He hasn't had that impact yet. You know, O-line is bad. Yeah, it is bad. My opinion, brother, I wish we never left Oakland, but it's like the league didn't give us much of a choice. Well, it was that, and Oakland wasn't going to build a new stadium. That wasn't going to happen there. You know, Al always wanted to be in Vegas. That was always his thought process, from what I've understood. So let's see if the press conference is up. All right, he's not live yet. It's only been up for 4 minutes. As soon as he goes live, I'll turn it on. I'll unmute it so we can see who or what he's got to say. Let's see, what's Ernie say? What's up, Ernie? By the way, Genty, relax, Raiders. You're not winning the big one yet. Don't kill your bell count so you can give him his just due protection and then QB team. Until then, don't kill it. Yeah, exactly. This offensive line is not ready to protect for a guy of his a player of his caliber. You know, and that's the downside. We're gonna waste his rookie year, basically. Anybody that had aspirations that he was going to rush for 1,500 yards or 1,200 yards plus, say, 300 yards receiving, it's not going to happen. Is this a phone-in show? I don't know what you mean by that. I mean, Genty was a bright spot yesterday. I mean, what he did yesterday, he made a lot of it on his own. You know, yeah, the line opened up one good hole for him, but anything that I have no problem with what he did yesterday. Genty actually looked like the guy that we drafted. You know, he was making plays on his own. He wiped out a couple of guys, man. He laid a couple of them out from what I saw. Genty's not the problem. You can't blame your running back if the O-line can't make holes for him and block properly. And Geno Smith was running for his life back there, sacked 5 times yesterday, and he still fired the ball off as well as he did. No interceptions. That's one of the big things I was looking for. I wanted 0 interceptions from him. I said it Friday night and I said it Saturday on our show last call. And he lived up to it. He didn't throw any interceptions. He threw some shady passes, though. I mean, still into double and triple coverage. A couple that could have been intercepted. And just by the way the ball bounced, we got lucky there. You know, I'd rather be a losing team in Oakland because doesn't everybody lose in Vegas? Yeah. Well, if you look at it from a gambling aspect, yeah. Yeah. Don't Duncan, they need to figure out that JPJ thing out soon. Is it concussions or line calls or what? I've said this the other day. I said maybe he's not as good as everybody thought he was. Is that a possibility? But this offensive line, something they need a spark. So they need to mix something up. And waiting until the bye week to make changes, when we got 2 weeks off, that's too late at that point. That's still 4 more weeks from now. That's we need something now. We got a tough schedule. We really do. At first everybody's like, "Oh, we got an easy schedule." I don't know about that. It just bothers me that we had such a good game Monday night. We lost. I get that. We lost to the Chargers, but the defense played so well. We were in that game right up until like the mid of the fourth quarter. We still had a legit shot to pull that off, and we didn't. Genty got arms around him as soon as Gino put the ball in his hands. Oh, in the backfield? Oh, hell yeah. A lot of times he did 0 gains or negative yardage. I wonder if anyone else is going to talk in that presser, or if it's just him. Is Jacoby Myers the number 1 receiver? Shouldn't be. How do you feel about my Falcons benching us starting quarterback? I don't care about the. Sorry, but this is a Raiders talk show. I'm not going to be talking about the Falcons. Meredith is missing calls constantly. Yep. At least the snaps were good yesterday compared to last week. Checking out. He still hasn't started yet. Let's see. I just don't think they have confidence in JPT. His mistakes can be costly to a team. Yeah, it's got to be something that we don't know about. There has to be something. For him to be that as good as he was last season, and all of a sudden he's in the doghouse, and we just, I know he had concussion and everything, but even Glaze, man, he blew a lot of plays yesterday too. He did not look good out there at all. I don't trust this coaching's judgment on the O-line. Throw JPJ's ass back out there. Let's see. How about this JPJ at center, Meredith at left guard, Parham at right guard? Like at the end of last season, they haven't been right since. I mean, the only good, decent game they played was week 1, and even that, I mean, they weren't that great. Genty ran the ball 19 times, for an average of I think it was 2.7 yards per carry. They still couldn't create the holes even then. What's up, Ricky? The O-line is trash. Special team sucks. Defense can't fucking tackle. Complete shit show again. How do I put up with this shit every single year? Tell me, Chris, don't take it the wrong way, brother. I'm sorry, but I just didn't even know that they benched their quarterback. I was watching our game and then spent the rest of the afternoon just kind of fuming over how shitty we were. Yeah, plus you got shut out too, so that doesn't help. People can't blame Chip Kelly either. The line didn't give him a chance to execute the plays he calls. Then come up with do something where it's more short yardage shit. Where it's more, he gets the ball and he's just unloading it right away. To Brock coming across the middle, or to, I don't know how long Michael Mayer is going to be out for. These deep throws, you don't have the line to set those up. I know we like to try and stretch the field with our speedsters, with Tucker. And yeah, Tucker had a great game, but 2 of those touchdowns were in garbage time. That early touchdown was a nice pass. That was a nice touchdown. That was a beautiful play. But we needed more of that early in the game. when the defense is relaxing and there's, they're in that defend mode or that prevent mode, we go into prevent, we prevent ourselves from winning. That's what's always happened with us. When our defense goes into prevent mode, we always prevent ourselves from winning and we always end up losing. So that was technically like that garbage time when he got those 2 big touchdowns. A little too late. At some point, he's a Remington Award winner. Good to be conscientious of the line calls and penalties. And that's the other thing too. People forget that JBJ only played 1 year at center in college, his senior year. He was always playing guard before that. So even when we put him at center last year, it still was fairly new to him if you think about it, because he only played X amount of games in college for 1 season. And then we threw him out there, into the center position for the second half of the season. He did well. He definitely did well last year. There's no 2 ways about that. I'm not going to deny that. No, presser still hasn't started. Let's see. What's up, RA Raider? The JPJ Bank House told her something white in a cake. Okay, that was funny. There were 3 times I could think of when our O-line improved last season. First was when JPJ became center. Second, Miller became fully healthy. And third was when the offense changed to a power run scheme. And fourth, when Philbin took over for whatever that guy's name was. I don't remember his name anymore. Frag or something. What's up, Cool Kev? Players are better built for a power run scheme. What's up, brother? High school defense. We're confident we can overpower the Raiders. Yeah, the high school defense. Yeah, you probably could right about now. Some of the size of these kids that play high school football now, good God, some of these kids are monsters. So, yeah, very well could. Let's see. What's up, Coach? How about this? Parham released, Meredith demoted to backup in J. You know what? Just that first sentence alone about Parham being released, I would throw a party, because I am tired of him always being the weak link right now. I mean, there's one particular play from Monday night last week where the ball snapped. It's a pass play. And he's standing his ground. There's nobody coming at him. He's got nobody on him. The linebacker was still in his spot, and he was kind of just playing the pass. And then Parham turns to his right and goes to help Meredith. And I forget who I think it was Kappa. They were already double teamed on the tackle. And he goes and puts his hands on Meredith to help them. And Zero just blows right by him and sacks Gino. Stand your ground. Why they're double teamed already? They're good. They got their guy. That guy ain't going anywhere. He hadn't moved since the ball was snapped. You abandoned your post, basically. You abandoned your post, and you gave up a sack by doing that too. So it's absolutely ridiculous how bad this guy is. Also need to have Gino under center more often. Running out of shotgun and his short yardage is dumb. I'm not going to argue that one either. Chip Kelly is so predictable, though. He throws on every first down and runs on second down every fucking possession. Crazy to say, I miss Reggie McKenzie. Last GM to prioritize a dominant O-line. Ever since then, it's been piecemeal and bust picks like leather. Yeah, absolutely correct, too. We haven't had a good offensive line in a while. Can't even count last year as a good offensive line. I mean, the whole team as a whole was horrible last year. What's up, Raider Paul? Let's see.
Raiders.
At 12 million, Chip can't create anything. Kuntz looks lost out there. I don't think he should get a big deal. He better finish strong. He's on a 1-year deal. He's on a prove me deal. So I'll tell you what, Kuntz ain't proven shit yet. I've seen, and this is crazy, but I've seen more highlights from fucking Tyree Wilson than I have Kuntz, to be honest with you. call me crazy, but no, pizza.
Great. And I guess,
I'm gonna rewind it. My bad. My bad. Sorry, guys. I didn't realize he was up already. Here we go. Can you guys hear it?
So we have what we have, and we got to make our guys do better, and we got to fit it together better than we have.
Pete, last week, in terms of the Chargers game, you said that you were not going to basically scrap the film. I'm curious as to what is that differentiating factor between when you decide to do that versus
I was basically not going
How about now?
like move past the film, like you weren't going to like scrap the film. You said that after the Chargers game.
Yeah. What did I mean by scrap the film? I'm not.
Like throw it away. Yeah, like you didn't want to like just move past it. I was curious as to if they're like
No, we're at such an early stage of developing of our team that we have to keep building. We have to go through the hard stuff, learn the hard way, learn the hard lessons. Yeah, it's a thought. You throw the film out and don't look at it, but we have too much to teach and too much to learn, and so this is just part of the process, and it would have been nice to get 2 wins out of these 3 and or get them all, but it didn't happen yet. So we've got to keep working at every phase of our game. We didn't turn it around from Monday night relative to how they did. They had the big break and they took advantage of it. I overdid it. I tried to make sure that we had our legs. I feel like I didn't do the right decision making to get us right. And because fundamentally we did not play as well as we have. And so it just happens. You got to take a shot at it. That game coming Monday night or after a Thursday nighter for the other team has historically been very, very difficult. And that's the schedules. We got to play it, and we need to respond better.
The short week did hurt us.
We were talking about Gino.
But that's not the reason.
What the defense gives him with Trey Tucker's performance. Do you believe that was Gino kind of taking what the defense gave him, or do you think that Trey just watching the film just had an incredible game and was just getting over separation? How would you see that?
No, it's a combination. Gino really did get back on track, and he played like he plays. The week before was something different, and it was great to see him come back like that. He took advantage of Trey in his opportunities. Trey was fortunate on a couple opportunities. The concept really fit the concept of their defense. He got behind him a couple times. We didn't get him a couple times too. There was other opportunities that we could have gone to him. So Trey took advantage of it. Gino was on point, and there was some real nice calls there to get him open for the touchdowns. Trey's had a really good start to this season, and he's been very consistent. He's come through in big ways, and it's just really indications of more to come. We got to keep going to him because he's making things happen.
What do you think issues or special teams?
Well, I go back to the whole team, and that's why this is my responsibility. The whole team fundamentally did not play well.
You think?
They did. I'm going to give it to Danny too. I thought his team played exceedingly well in all phases, and Larry Izzo, their special teams coach, used to be our special teams coach. He got those guys ready to go, and they whipped us on the returns, so it's a hard game, but I'm going to take it. I have to do a better job of getting these guys ready to go in the matchups that we have, regardless, and it showed up in special teams quite clearly. Fundamentals, just being low and leverage and attack and defending blocks and beating the blockers on our coverage, all of that, and it was the too many big plays that lead them to an easy win for them.
Obviously, things didn't go the way that you would like in the secondary, but when you have guys like the receivers that Washington had, how much will that challenge help guys like Caillou and Darren along the season with the receivers that are going to come as well?
Yeah, I thought that the corners did well again. We gave up the double move play Caillou got whipped on that one. That was a really nice play by them and all. We should have had a chance to stay on top. That was at a time in the game, and that's what they're going to do. And unfortunately, we didn't take care of that. Stokes played really well again, and it was great to get Darian out there. It was a clear opportunity to throw him out and made a couple tackles and looked comfortable in coverage and did like he's been doing in practice. So those guys are developing. We got to make sure we're staying on top. Easy plays are they're killers.
Anything new with Mayor?
No updates on that yet. We'd love to have Michael get back out there. We don't know if he'll be able to or not.
Otherwise, pretty healthy from the game, right?
Yeah, we came out okay. We've been, that health has been one of our strong points.
How do you keep the players really locked in and focused and not get discouraged by an outcome like that, knowing they want and expect more?
This is all I've ever known. This is what you do, and you have to deal with it. And we have really clear messaging from the beginning to deal with challenges and all of that. We also have tremendous leadership and from our club in the locker room. Maxx couldn't be more a part of the messaging and being vocal and challenging guys and to play up. Maxx has played extraordinary football right off the bat, which we expected, but his leadership has been even better. And so it's with that. It's leadership, it's direction, it's system, it's enduring the setbacks and coming back out of them. And that's got to keep building hope that it's available, and that's my job. See you.
Thanks, Pete.
What the fuck? That's it? Wow. I wonder if anyone else is coming on, or if that was the end of it. Damn. It didn't say a whole lot. I mean, the one thing that I was wondering was how long Mayor's going to be out, and he said he doesn't have an update on that yet. Yeah, I guess that was it. It just shut down. Yep. Okay. Alrighty then. So that was kind of a pointless press conference, I guess. And you're right, Bueno. I mean, the reporters are throwing softball ask questions at him, instead of like, what the hell's going on? Why is this team so bad? Why is JPJ not out there? Why do you still have Parham out there? Those are the questions that need to be asked. He needs to be held accountable for this. It's ultimately his decision. It's like, good God. Yeah, you're probably right, dude. Cool, Kev. Yeah, that was a quick ass freaking press conference. Thoughts on how Maxx is playing? Not warranting the amount of money we're paying him. Not at all. And I'm sorry if people say, well, you're still getting double and triple team. Bullshit. Go rewatch Monday night's game. That kid Pimpkins was on him alone 90% of the game. Wasn't getting. He might have got touched by a running back running out of the backfield, but that ain't enough to knock Maxx off his groove. That kid Pimpkins held him in check and was doing exactly what he was supposed to do, and that's push or pass rusher to the outside, so it delays his run to get to the quarterback. Maxx, I don't know why he's not pulling a swim move or anything or spin moves to cut back inside, because that tackle's pushing him so far outside that if he spins back to the inside, he's got clear path to the quarterback. Just watch that Monday night game. You'll see it. And that wasn't like Joe Alt out there or like some superstar offensive lineman. That was a kid named Pimpkins who was put in that spot because they needed to put Alt to the left tackle once Slater was out. So this wasn't like the premier offensive tackle in the league out there going up against Maxx. Who's getting teamed up on is Butler, and Butler's still making plays. He's still doing his job. Butler's the one lone bright spot right now. Even Lau, when he's been in there, has had some impact. Kuntz has been invisible. Maxx, yeah, he got a sack yesterday, but it was towards the end of the game, and that do it early on when we need it. Maxx needs to take over a game. is what it is. You know, you're paying him to be that Micah Parsons type of guy. You know, these other premier pass rushers, they're still getting the job done even when they get double teamed. You know, Myles Garrett, you can't stop that guy. You know, the guy's a machine. You know, Micah Parsons, same thing. Look at the impact he's had on Green Bay already. You know, yeah, Green Bay lost yesterday, but Jesus, you know, even Trey Hendrickson's still doing better than Max right now, I believe, if you look at the stats. I next week's game, I'm nervous about that one too. I don't think that's I think we could lose that one too. I don't even know if we're going to win that one. What's up, Will? What's going on, man? After a butt, yeah, after a butt kicking, it's cliche. Thanks, guys. Yep. Yeah, and Mostert, there's another one. You know, where's that change of pace back? We don't have that speed change of pace back. You know, our change of pace is going from Genty to Zamir. Okay. I mean, I know Zamir comes out and passing plays because he's definitely a better pass blocker than Genty is. But that you're just showing your hand every time. So every time you roll Zamir out there, there's a good shot it's going to be a passing play. You know, they did give him the ball to make it look legit, like he's going to try and run the ball instead of just coming out for passing plays. But that shit's they're going to catch on to that, you know? Phone call, fuck off. Yeah, he's out for some sort of family. He hasn't played at all. He hasn't been in any game. He's been a healthy scratch on every one of them. So it's not a health issue. He's not injured. So it's going to be personal family issues, and they're just not releasing why, which is fine. If that's what it is, that's what it is, you know? I don't think you're going to see Mostert go anywhere. Good, fuck Mostert taking up a roster spot while we have two eagerly waiting running backs on the practice squad. Yeah, that's the other thing too. That's probably it. Mostert might return at some point. Might. All these players need to smell salts before each game so they can wake the fuck up. I'll tell you, you want to. What do we get to lose at this point? Put Caleb Rogers out there. Get the rookie out there. Get Grant out there. Get them both out there. Spark something. Who knows? It could turn out to be a good thing. You know, do something. Good God. You know? Oh, fuck, man. Changes we need to make. Changes. Pull folks off the bench. I'm sure we got some hungry people waiting for a chance. Yeah, exactly. There's Caleb Rogers and there's Grant. You drafted them both for a reason because you thought they were going to be the guys. Give them a shot. Put them out there. What do we got to lose? We're 1-2 right now. You know, soon we could be 1-4. I mean, 1-3. You know, if you look through the schedule is not favorable the rest of the way. Anybody that had aspirations of us winning 10-plus games, you're out of your damn tree now. That ain't happening. I think we're going to be hard-pressed to win more than 5 at this point. You know? Flacco, yeah. My honest prediction, Bears 85, Raiders 0. Would have asked you a week ago, there would have been flip-flop the other way, right? Let's see. Lavia's change of pace back. Yeah, Cam Scatterboo, man, he looked fucking great last night. That guy, man, he's just, you talk about a bowling ball. Good God. I don't know if anyone cares, but Nick Bosa is out for the season. Nah, don't care. And I'm not surprised. Getting over his I got to be 1% better talk. He sure does. Sure doesn't know how to talk. We need to see it on the field ASAP. Shit is getting old, and I love Max. Yeah. The fuck you. I ain't sending you the link. Well, piss off. This is my show, bitch. This is my solo show. I don't get to do solos. Hang on. I'll give it to you. Fucker. Against my better judgment. Hang on, everybody. Let me send him this link. I'm sending it to you, silver and black one. There you go. You got it. I sent it to you. Let's see. Glad we didn't sign him, but wish we just cashed in for Trey Henderson. I do too. I wish we did. Chris Collier could take. Yeah, he could. So Grant at right tackle, Caleb Rogers at left guard, and Parham at right guard. I don't see anything wrong with that. Because not for nothing, Glaze hasn't looked good at all. Not one bit. Patrick Graham is trash. We got 5 games left before things go sideways. Dude, we're already sideways. We're in a tailspin already, this team. Like I said, anything that we need to, whatever needs to be fixed has to come from internal, plain and simple. Right now, I mean, and like some people are saying, like, oh, let's just not win another goddamn game, another game, and we'll get Arch Manning. Anybody that thinks a rookie quarterback's going to fix our issues, I don't know what the hell you've been watching. Well, a rookie quarterback ain't going to fix shit. Okay? That's the last thing we need is another quarterback. We need offensive line. We need defense. We need much more than just a fucking rookie quarterback that ain't even going to start. So I saw somebody yesterday in the stands doing a YouTube short or an Instagram post saying, where's Cam Miller? Let's start kids. Cam Miller time. Quarterback's not the problem, folks. Let everybody understand this. The quarterback, Geno, is not the fucking problem. As bad as that offensive line is, he's still surviving back there. You can't blame him for those sacks. I'm sorry. You know, he can only scramble so much and for so long. If there's nobody open and the O-line is not blocking, you can't blame him for the sacks. You can blame him for the interceptions, yes, but he didn't throw any yesterday. You know, you can't go and blame Geno for what happened yesterday. He tried his best with what he's got to work with. When he's getting that ball snapped to him and half the defense is already crashing in on him, what the fuck you expect him to do? Geno's not the problem. Quarterback is not the problem. You know? No, I didn't fire Chris. He had to go to the dentist this morning. He had a severe toothache. So he's like, oh, maybe we can do the show tonight. I said, you sure you're going to be able to talk later? He goes, yeah, probably not. So I said, well, I'm just going to go on. I'll keep it going to your channel too. So, yeah, Chris made a business decision today. Yeah, Chris is collecting a check. Raiders for life disappointment on all compete hype. Yeah, it's more like compost, not compete. Let's see. It doesn't matter how we shuffle. We only have an O-lineman who can handle a decent defender one-on-one. Yep. Yeah, and I agree, Donuts. I think Arch is terrible. I think he's overrated. Cool Kev is absolutely. That's what I'm looking at. O-line is top priority. Well, I sent you the link, man. If you're coming in, come in. Jason, if you want to come in, you can just jump in the studio. You know how to get in here. Cam Miller, he's on the practice squad for a reason. Yeah, exactly. Put a rookie behind that O-line is attempted murder. Oh, we'd get him killed. Absolutely. So if we didn't address the offensive line during the offseason coming up, right, and we just go ahead and, we got the top pick, let's grab Arch Manning, you're going to ruin his career. The kid won't last more than 1 or 2 seasons in the league. You're going to destroy this kid. That was the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Yeah, Glaze does not. He lost something, man. I don't know what the fuck happened because he played so well last season, and now this year it's like he just forgot how to play. I just don't get it. Let's see. I already got my mock ready for $95 million in cap space in 2026. Sure enough, Arch Manning isn't coming out. How about Joe Thuney, offensive guard? Thuney, is he related to the old school Thuney? He must be. Offensive tackle Rob Haverstein and defensive tackle Travis Jones are free agency. Oh, never mind, Joe Thuney. Never mind, you're talking free agency. Never mind. I'm thinking college. What's up, young DB? Softest interior O-line I've ever seen. Oh, it's horrible. Manning like sand is all hype. Oh, definitely. Talk smack now that I'm in the room full. Yeah, Arch, you suck. Lucky Tassi might be a gem. He smothered defensive tackle Byron Murphy. Tassi made his knees buckle. I mean, fuck, even try him. Who cares? Just do something. Anything. You know, I don't think anybody in Raider Nation would be upset if they came out with a whole new switch up on the offensive line. Hey, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, oh well, failed experiment. Move on. You know, Jason holding a cup of Hennessy with Chris's name on it. Yeah, whatever. Charges. Yeah, whatever. Let's see. We need the draft O-line and Gino's replacement. Gino is only going to be a Raider while Carroll is the coach. Charges. Yeah, good luck with that one. Talk about a washed-up Dunkport running back. Imagine being happy to sign Ezekiel Elliott, right? Flexes a lot. Do you use food for sandwiches? What? Oh, God. Here comes Big Ugly. They're laughing back there. Get in here, fuck stick.
Yeah, Big Ugly. Right on.
Oh, my God.
That
Yeah,
man-
look.
That makes two of us.
Hell no. I'm the pretty one of the two.
Yeah, I don't know who
It
told
just-
you that.
There's so many different directions that they need to go with this team. That there's so many fixes that we need, you know. And again, it's that same situation where when your defensive backs are leading your defense in tackles, that's not a good thing.
Nope.
That's not something to be proud of. You know,
Mm-mm.
you want your linebackers and your defensive front to have the most tackles, not your secondary. You know, and that's what happened again yesterday.
No.
You know, there was hardly any penetration from the front line. You know, it's just, I know I'm on the defense now, but it's just so much bullshit. Oh, Will's
Yeah.
here too. What's up,
Oh,
Will?
well.
What's up, fam?
What's going on?
Yeah, one of the things you hit the nail on the head with that, Chris or Jeff. Sorry, with every time Washington snapped the ball on a run play, their running back wasn't getting hit until 2 or 3 yards downfield.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then on the flip side, our running back was getting hit 2 yards in the backfield before.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. You know, there's two things I don't blame certain people for this game. I think Gino played great for what he had to deal with. I think he was absolutely on spot. No interceptions. Yeah, 3 touchdowns. 2 of them were in garbage time. And Genti made the best of what he could with that offensive line. You know,
Yeah.
we saw flashes of what we got in Genti.
Yep.
You know, he had some really good runs. You
Yep.
know, he made the best of it. You know, it's just the O-line is the blaring overall weakness on this team right now.
Yep.
If we can get that, offensive line set, then everything else will fall into place because there'll be less pressure on the defense because they won't have to worry about doing everything out there and getting the ball back and all that. You know, they'll be able to relax a little bit more because we'll be able to put points on the board. You know, yeah, we put 21 points up on the board yesterday, the most we've put up all season. But it was all for naught. 2 of those touchdowns came in garbage time. So technically, we only put 7 points on the board.
Yeah.
You know, before Washington started to relax a little bit because they had the game so far in hand, it wasn't even funny. You know,
Well, when it was
especially-
17-10, it felt like we at least could claw back in, you know, fix some of the mistakes that we were making and get back into it. But that
Yeah.
just wasn't happening.
No, it was horrible. What's your take, Will? I know you wanted to come on and vent.
Oh, baby. Woo! What the fuck are we doing? Is the biggest
Right.
question, right? Our offensive line looks lost. Every single time we are trying to do something, it looks like one of our guys gets beat. Somebody doesn't know what they're doing. A guy goes unblocked. I'd be like, honestly, our offensive line looked horrible. And I'm not looking at the individual player anymore. I'm looking at the position coach. What are you teaching? Are you teaching the reach and width? The, hey, let's not pass block? Hey, the no block. What are we teaching here? Okay, that's my question.
We're
And when
teaching
I
them how to
look
be matadors.
Hey, we're
Step aside and
really
let the
good at
ball
that.
go.
And I'm going to tell you the truth right now. That right there is Pete Carroll's son. And I think he's the weak link in this coaching staff. And if it was any other coach right now, we would be asking for his ass. You know, and that's an unfortunate truth right there. The offensive line, I don't understand why JPJ was under concussion protocol, and then you bring him back, and it's a big deal, and we're announcing all these things, and he doesn't see the field at all. Capel was getting killed. Parham was getting killed. Meredith, I don't know if he's making the right calls.
And that's the other problem too. If he's not calling out the right audibles to the offensive line, then that's on him. You know?
And that's a big deal. Let's look at it. I mean, like when Geno Smith was bringing a running back up in the middle of the whole formation to bring him up in pass pro, because the Commanders had been bringing pressure up the middle and getting home. I mean, like he brought up, I think it was Zeus or Genti, and like was pointing at him, hey, where there's going to be a double A gap blitz, and what do both linebackers do? They both bail. But Geno was under duress all game long. We gave up 5 sacks. People can say, oh, yeah, Geno was holding on to the ball. Either we're not getting open downfield, or Geno's extending the play because he's feeling pressure that isn't there because the offensive line is not holding up their end of the bargain. But, guys, you guys let me know what you guys saw. I mean, like, this is really what I saw offensively. I think defensively, we forgot our tackling at home the first half. I mean, like, really, it was disappointing to see a running back that's and I don't know what, 3rd, 4th string, breaking tackles, looking like Derrick Henry, and busting a 60-yarder right up the gut on us.
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you think, Jeff?
Mark says, I think we should look at unsigned free agent O-linemen. There ain't nothing out there that's better than what we got. There's absolutely nothing. I've looked at that list, and it's a handful of guys. I'd be more apt to give Caleb Rogers and Grant a shot. I'd rather put them out there and give them a chance. Why not?
What do you got to lose? What do you got to lose?
Exactly. That's why I said it. It's like at this point, what's the difference? We're 1-2. We've still got a tough-ass schedule coming up. I really don't know how many games we're going to win if we look at the schedule.
We said, and let's not get out of hand, though. Let's not get out of hand. Who would have thought we would have beat the Commanders? We all thought Jaden Daniels was going to play.
Mm-hmm.
Did you really think the Raiders were going to go in there and win this game when you had your win total? I'll be like, did you see this game as a win?
I'd expect better.
I had it as a win. I did.
I didn't have it as a win with Jaden Daniels.
I was a flip when the schedule came out on that, but I could tell you this, that I didn't expect that kind of effort, and that was effort. That wasn't. We can sit here and pound the table for Brennan Carroll and Chip Kelly and fire this guy. That ain't gonna fucking solve nothing. It's the little beaten muscle inside every one of them chests on the 5 linemen that were playing yesterday, and that was fucking hard. There was no heart whatsoever. The only thing that they did good that whole fucking game was turn around and pick the guy up off the ground. That's all they did yesterday. They spent the whole game turning around, picking the guy up off the ground. There was times where Washington blocked themselves. They were getting so much pressure up the middle.
Okay. So let me ask you this, though. Were there not a lot of plays where the offensive linemen looked confused? Where they literally didn't block?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
So when we're saying, hey, that's for me, they're not being taught what they're looking for. I mean, like you're blocking ghost. So that's where I'm like, I question what you're being coached, what you're being taught, what is going on in the meeting rooms during the week to say, hey, man, you're blocking air. Cisco, hire Tom Cable. I will pound the table for Tom Cable right now.
At
I'm
this
like, I
point.
wish.
And
At
Tom
this
Campbell's
point,
not a bad
no.
offensive line coach. He's
No,
had some
he's a
bad.
great O-line.
He's had some bad
we gotta-
players that he's had to coach up. But
We got a
you know
super
what?
chat.
I mean,
Hold
Go
on.
ahead.
We got a super
Super
chat from Brennan Carroll. I'm teaching my guys to be matadors. Yeah, you are. And you're doing a hell of a job of it, too. Thanks for the super chat, brother. I appreciate it. Dawn's here. She says hi to you, Will.
Hey, Don.
oh, okay, Don. I give you
What's
a
up,
super
Cisco?
chat and I get
What's up, brother?
nothing.
No.
I gave Don a super chat the other day.
But and that's where I'm questioning things, right? Because when your offensive line looks confused, and really like the guys are out there and they're like, oh, wait, I'm not supposed to block that guy. And I'm going to tell you, one time, Bobby Wagner lined up right in the A gap, right over Parham. Meredith and him split the freaking wall like the ocean had just come through, and nobody blocks Bobby Wagner, who's in the A gap. I had never played offensive line. I've coached
2
it,
sacks.
but
Bobby Wagner, old man Wagner, got 2 sacks in that game.
and I'm going to tell you this, and I know for a fact when you coach it, you always say you block the most dangerous guy, and it's always worked from the inside out. It's always been that A gap guy that takes precedence over every other guy. How in the fuck did we not block that guy?
You're asking the wrong guys. It's so bad. Did you were you in the chat listening to Pete Carroll's press conference just a few minutes ago?
I wasn't.
I played I brought it up and I played just the audio so we could hear it. That press conference was about maybe 6 minutes, 7 minutes long from him. And I feel like I didn't get a single answer. And Bueno said it in the chat too. He goes, these reporters are just throwing up softball questions to him. Like nobody asked him, like, why is JPJ not out there? Well, they might have asked him that, but like Parham, nobody questions him about Parham. Why is Parham still out there? You sit there and say yesterday the competition's still open between JPJ and Kappa. Why is there no competition for Parham? Obviously the weakest link on that offensive line. Why is there no competition for him? Why isn't Kappa competing with him and just let JPJ be JPJ? I know that it was a short week. They didn't hit. They didn't practice. That's why JPJ wasn't out there on the offensive line. That's exactly what he explained yesterday in the press conference after the game. He was out there for special teams, like for punts and field goals and such, but he wasn't out there in the regular offensive scheming. They had Kappa playing the whole game because it was a short week and they didn't want to risk it.
I agree with you on that. I mean, I totally understand the reasoning why they didn't play JPJ, but middle of the second quarter, they should have pulled Parham's ass and put JPJ in at left guard at minimum. At minimum.
Yep.
Hey, he said it right there. I'm gonna ask questions because if your player is available, and you don't want, I don't want to hear this shit about longevity anymore.
What's up, Jay Jackson?
When we're sitting there, we're limiting a guy's reps because we're going, oh, we can only give him 10 carries because we want to see the longevity of his career. I'm like, we understand that these guys have a limited time. We understand that these guys want to play. Man, we got to win now. JPJ not playing in this game.
What's up, G-Ward?
There's a big question mark for me. The interior offensive line as a whole, center, right guard, left guard, are huge question marks for the Raiders right now. And I want to, hey Jay, and I want to know what your guys' thoughts on all of that. I mean, like, should we just call it a spade and go, hey, JPJ, play center, solidify that position, we'll figure it out with the guards? Or what's the solution there? What do you guys see?
Well, like I said, we need a spark. Something needs to happen, and it needs to happen sooner than later, because if we wait until the bye week, it's too late already, because that's traditionally when teams make big changes is on their bye week. That's still 4 weeks away. 4 weeks away, the season's lost at that point. If you have any aspirations to make anything out of this season, you got to make the change now. We're back on our normal schedule now. We're back home. They're already home now. You've got a full week of practice. It's a home game this week. Make the changes during the week. Get out there and hit. Get out there, get these guys in pads and start smacking each other around. Put the rookies in. Do something. You need to spark something in this offensive line, plain and simple. It's the biggest weakness on this team right now is that O-line. Go ahead. I'll let Jason.
No, you hit the nail on the head, and I think we talked about that Saturday night.
We did.
I mean, that was like
before the game. We talked about it.
Yeah,
and it's true.
I think that's what made you sick Saturday night. We kept talking about it.
Yeah, I couldn't concentrate. I was so just beside myself. I had to leave.
Yeah. Bottom line is, short answer is, we don't have a solution because there really isn't one. We can try. I mean, we can do little pepper things here and there to try and get a spark. But it's too late in the season to be looking at, free agent or and I'm not into. Let's face it. Let's not even think about trading any draft capital to get a guard or tackle now. Let's not. I mean, there are guys on that roster that can do the job. They just have to do it. They have to do it. And I myself believe that, why don't we look at week 16 of the 2024 season? Who was the starting lineup on that offensive line that week?
Right there.
Yeah, we could
have gotten an offensive lineman in the second round instead of Betch. What has Betch done?
Good.
What has he done?
Hey, he caught that pass in the fourth quarter.
One catch for 10 yards. That probably shouldn't have even been a first down, because it seriously did not look like he got his second foot down.
You asked, Jeff. You asked. That's what he did. So,
but what has he done consistently for this team?
Nothing.
Second round pick. Second round.
He should be a starter, right? I mean,
I've seen third and fourth and fifth rounders do more than a second round pick that we've just grabbed. I'm sorry, but that was a wasted pick. And I'm starting to seriously consider Genti at number 6, based on the offensive line that we have, was a bad pick. That's not the pick. In hindsight, you go back and redo this draft, and you got this offensive line right now, would you still pick Genti at number 6, or would you go something different?
I'm going to tell you like this. The Raiders right now are like a Ford Pinto in a Ferrari body. We got all these shiny things on the outside, right? But we're really
are they shiny though? But are they really shiny though?
Like, look, dude. I mean, like, look at it. We have Genti, great. Like, oh yeah, people are like running back, great position player, best of his class. We got tight end. We got Bowers. We got best tight end in the class. We got a guy that can catch the ball, make a difference. We got Mayer, who just knocked himself out during the game. I'll be like, hey, I hope he's all right. I mean, like, that was an all-effort play. I can't hate on the guy. He was out there busting his ass, and he got injured. But, I mean, like, he was another shiny piece. We had all these shiny pieces, but, man, look at it. The meat and potatoes, we didn't have it.
Mm-mm.
And that's just a fact.
What's up, tall Ken? I think your car analogy is off, too. I think we're more like a Pinto that wants to be a DeLorean is probably the closest.
Or a souped up Miata. We're looking like a Pinto trying to look like a
Even
Miata.
a Miata's too good. I'm going with a stainless steel, dull shined DeLorean.
But I'm with Jay Downs, man. I'm telling you, I feel like the position guys are there. We're just not putting them in the right position. We're not putting the guys in a position to succeed. And that to me has to do with coaching. The guy that's coaching them up and putting that O-line together every single week, looking at Glaze getting put inside of Gino's lap every fucking play like he was this week, looking at our interior offensive line just letting Olay blocks happen every week. That's on you. You're putting that O-line together. You're going to Chip Kelly and you're going like, these are my best 5 guys, putting them in those positions, and we're not succeeding. So that's why I'm looking at the O-line coach.
Yeah, and I'm going to say it. I'm watching the chat here, and I'm just going to say it outright. No, I am not looking forward to the draft. 2, there's
too
and
early.
I told Jeff this last week when I said Gino's fine, relax. Oh no, relax. It's not him. I mean, the plays, even yesterday, he was under pressure 21 times. He was sacked 5 times.
Yep.
So 21 times that he dropped back to pass, he was fighting for his fucking life. And he was doing everything. As much as we want to give credit for Genty for getting those 60 yards rushing, that he had to do that on his own, I'm going to say 220 yards of Gino's passing he had to do on his own.
Agreed.
He got very little help.
It looked like a jailbreak back there. He was running for his life most of the game.
The touchdown pass was a perfect example. Is he knew at that point the 5-man pressure that was coming. His guys were not going to stop it. He got out as soon 1001, 1002, bam! He broke outside the pocket, rolled out, and he was able to hit Tucker in the end zone.
What's up, Omar?
So, and I'm going to ask you this, Jay, and I think just looking at the game, with all those pressures, I think I would be seeing like fantasy pressure too. Like I would be imagining that my time clicker inside as a quarterback, it would be going faster because I keep getting hit. I keep getting activated. I'd be like, and people are like, "Oh, you know what? He's holding on to the ball. He's extending it. He's not reading the field." I'm like, bro, he's under pressure every fucking play.
5 sacks yesterday. He got sacked 5 fucking times. 5 sacks. And they weren't like because he was holding on the ball forever. It's because they were crashing that line so fast that he didn't have a chance. Why do you think he's in the shotgun 90% of the time? Because he needs that. If he goes under center and does a drop back, by the time he plants his foot to throw the ball, he's done. He's going to be cooked. You're going to kill him, or he's going to have to scramble as he's backpedaling. Or as he's getting back into his stance to throw the ball, he's going to have to turn and run with it right away because the defensive line is already crashed in. At one point yesterday, I was watching, they had 6 guys on the fucking front line. We got 5 up front. We can't block 3, let alone fucking 6. Luckily the 2 linebackers backed off and dropped back in the coverage, but they still came with those 4 and they still got in on them. So it's like, I don't know if the offensive line, if they're in panic mode. The only one that I think is really kind of holding his own, and you don't hear anybody bitching about him, is Colton Miller. Because Colton Miller is Colton Miller, But he's still making mistakes, but they're not as blaringly obvious as the other 3 guys or the other 4 guys,
And Jeff, you said something, and Colton Miller did lose a lot of battles yesterday in key positions.
He did.
And let's just be real. Every single one of those guys up front got their ass whooped. And it's like you said, hey, Jay Downs, how many of those sacks were with 4-man pressures? With 4-man pressures. I believe they had like 2 or 3.
I think they had a 5-man pressure probably maybe 20% of the time, if that. A lot of it was 4-man.
And I'm looking at that with the 4-man pressure. We couldn't block 4 linemen with 5 or 6.
Yeah, they pointed that out on the telecast. Mark Schlereth pointed that out on the telecast. It's like they're bringing 4 guys with 5 men to block, technically 6 because the tight end staying in, and they're still pushing them back.
Exactly. So
I think the line owned us yesterday. Owned us. They pushed us around like we were little kids.
Jeff, how many times did you see Glaze getting put inside of Gino's lap?
Oh, he was on
DJ Glaze, who was on skates.
Somebody said it in the chat. He was in the backfield so much he should have played fullback because every time he turned around, Glaze was getting just beat bad or getting pushed back constantly. It was horrible.
The one Von Miller sack was Von Miller got that sack in 2.2 seconds.
Yep.
2.2 seconds off the line. All Von Miller did
was 36-year-old
done with this 36-year-old Von Miller who plays 10 snaps a game, doesn't practice. All he does is come in and work out.
2 past knee surgeries, act like he never lost a step. He played like he was second year in the league. Played phenomenal yesterday. And that's because of who he was going up against. Glaze just could not handle him. Yeah, this is a guy that doesn't need to practice. The team knows what they got with him, and he goes out there, no practice during the week, and does what he does best, and that's disrupt the offense, get at the quarterback, and he did it, and he did his job well. No two ways about it, Now, could you imagine if Max went up against a left tackle like Glaze on a consistent basis week in and week out? Max would have 20-plus sacks in the season.
Maybe that's
he
why
he does in practice.
That's why he looks so good in practice.
Yeah,
that's why he looks good in practice.
Great practice. He's doing well. Look what he's going up against. A wet dish rag could be better than some of our offensive linemen right now. Good God.
So this brings me to the next matter of fact that because you guys both have already said it, we've talked about it, is our weak ass offensive line is not helping our defensive line get prepared.
No, not at all.
I agree. I agree with you. I mean, like,
it's common. Iron sharpens iron, and if they don't have any iron, they're just using rubber bands. Then that's what we're gonna get. And what was the biggest thing yesterday? The trenches.
It was the lack of yes, we got our asses whooped in the trenches, and I'm going to say like that. Defensively, though, I felt like it was more lack of tackle. I mean, like we were throwing shoulders in there, we weren't wrapping up. I'd be like, we look like some strippers out there.
Although that 60-yard run was going to be a tackle until Chen hit freaking White, knocked him right off the tackle. I was like, oh my god, that's Pop Warner shit.
But so did you see that too? Though they weren't wrapping up, so they were just throwing the shoulder there, and White threw the shoulder in there, and his arms weren't wrapped around the guy.
Yeah,
I got a shout out to Tall Ken in the chat. He's been spamming the chat basically, but all the shit he's saying is hilarious, but it's fucking on point too. Like he's talking about Geno sees 6 against 5. Omaha might be taken, but shit, there are 50 other states and a lot of cities.
I like
going precious 5 boys to block, and we just I'm not gonna. That's like on 805 show last night. I sent a super chat to him while they were talking. I said, I'm packing my bags. I'm heading to Vegas. I'm going to be the first 55-year-old offensive starting lineman for the Raiders ever.
Hey. I'm playing right guard at 53.
I think Jason and I could go out there and stop for this offensive line and do a better job than fucking Parham and fucking Kappa right now. Because here's the thing. We've got the heart to want to go out there and do right, because we've got a lot invested in this team, and it's different. We're not getting paid to go out there. We're going out there as diehard Raider fans, want to see this team do good. I'll put my fucking body on the line and go out there and play for this goddamn team in a heartbeat. I got the size. I'm just under 400 pounds. I ain't got the height.
All you gotta do is give Jeff a 32-ounce Dunkin' Donuts iced coffee, man. He'll do it.
Pay me in Dunkin' Donuts coffees, and I'll be fine. Pay me in Dunkin' Donuts coffees and the loaded hash browns, and I'll be fine. That's my payment.
Hey, I'm gonna make this announcement now.
Give me all the free Raider gear that I can wear. That's in my size. Which isn't that much. They don't have much guys.
To 6'5", 350 pounds, can bench press 225 pounds, about 25 to 30 times. The Raiders are looking for you.
Yeah.
Well, I'm 6'4", 325. And last year while I was working out, I did 225 7 times.
What's up, Panda?
Ooh! Hey, here we go. J Downs. Hey, I'll be your agent. Don't worry. The Raiders will sign you today. Loaded Chipotle hash.
Raiders can recover. Let us pray hard.
But
you're leaving Tall Ken. Well, thanks for being here, man. I appreciate you. You actually made me laugh with some of your comments in the chat.
Yeah.
There was just so many of them, I couldn't put them all up. That was great. They say, when do or suck Raiders till I chuck, duck, fuck, whatever. Yeah, loaded Chipotle hash browns. Dude, that wrap they had, that wake up wrap, is awesome too, with the hash browns, the bacon, the Chipotle, the egg. Oh, it's so good.
I can't talk about food right now.
Chris can't talk about food right now because he's getting his teeth drilled
Yeah.
or whatever the fuck he's going on. That's why I came on solo. I told him, I said, I'm still going to go on.
Poor guy.
I was falling asleep as I was putting the studio together. It took me an hour and a half to put the studio together because every time I start typing something, I was dozing. I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, all right, I got to get this done.
Yeah, this was last night was a good sleep. But hey, like I yesterday after the game, listening to the post game with JT and Erica and Lincoln Kennedy and whatnot. I want to emphasize what they said. At this point, us as fans, what we can't do is we can't be spreading that we need to fire Kelly, we need to fire Pete Carroll.
No.
That shit we've been doing for the last fucking 25. That's what's got us in this problem to begin with.
We'll be right back there. Yeah, we'll be right back at the same spot again. So firing coaches is not.
I don't think it's a head coach or a coordinator problem. Again, I don't think it's a head coach or a coordinator problem.
No.
This is an offensive line problem, and it has to be in that offensive line room.
And it falls back on the offensive line coach.
And that's what I'm saying. I'm looking at the offensive line coach.
It's a position coach situation is what it is.
Because I don't think it's Pete Carroll making that he's making the ultimate decision on the JPJ Meredith thing. I think that's somebody else that's putting that out there. And, because Pete Carroll he lets his players or his coaches be autonomous and do their thing. He just tries to empower them to be better coaches and give his insight and what he wants in his philosophy, and then let them do their coaching. But with Brennan, if Brennan's going to his dad and saying, hey, I'd rather have this because JPJ and this and that, and the other thing, whatever. We know, everybody that's watched the Raiders know, somebody's going to have to give Jeff CPR.
I'm just thinking, I said it and then Bueno just typed it in the chat and it just hit me. I'm like, oh yeah, that didn't sound good.
Chris getting his mouth drilled. Yeah. And it was probably the good side of his mouth too. That he was getting drilled on.
Oh my god!
Well, he'll be a little bit sore.
Maybe.
Open wide. I can't open.
No, but
hey Becky, what's up?
I think in the long run he's given them ample opportunity to make the decisions. But it's time if that's the case, there's probably a point in time he's got to step in and go, look, this ain't working.
I agree.
So,
but again, and this is where I'm worried about that. So do you remember at the beginning of the season where he's like, oh, we'll mix it up until we find it out the right answer during the season? That to me, Jay, that worries me. As a coach, I don't like that. I like having solutions to my problems before they even rise. Go ahead, Jeff.
That's exactly what I said, Panda, earlier. I know you got in a little late. I agree 100% with what you just said in the chat.
We all do.
Why not? What do we get to lose? They can't be any worse than what we're already going. Well, they could be worse, but
even if they are, at least they got
something. Something has to happen. Something's got to snap here.
Even if we start Caleb Rogers over Park. I'm not saying both of them should be put out there right away. But what the hell, man? Why not put Rogers in Parham's spot? I've seen enough of this shit. That's 12 freaking quarters of stupidity I've seen in that hole. Go sit in the stands with your mom, Dylan. We're gonna play Caleb Rogers. That's what you're gonna do. Even if he's not the best player, at least Dylan will get the message like, oh shit. Yeah, you're not entitled to that position. Okay, it wasn't given to you.
Mm-hmm.
You have to earn it. That goes back to, like Will said, the compete portion of it. Has Parham been in a compete mode with anybody?
I haven't seen it. And this is the thing. I love what you just said. Hey, what is the big T-shirts that all the Raiders fans have right now? Compete, right? They put Pete Carroll right there, and it says compete.
Yeah.
Where's the competition? Where is this whole thing that we're going to fight, that we're going to have all this into us in practice, that we're going to go in there and we're going to kick ass, we're going to take names, and we're going to come out on fire? Tell me, where did we have that in this Commanders?
All preseason hype.
And again, I'm like, we didn't come out on fire.
It's gonna be the poop emoji, and it's gonna be compost.
Yeah,
that's pretty much what this is like. This is just like a pile of shit for an offensive line out there. Seriously.
Yeah.
And I don't normally talk a lot of shit about the team and negative stuff, but dude, it's so blaringly obvious what the issue is. Anybody that sits here with a blind eye and says, "Oh no, the offensive line, they're okay," well, then you obviously
there's
don't
issues.
Yeah,
Jeff,
you just look at the box score and go, "Oh, we did okay." No, watch the games.
I also want to be real too, right? Like I said, the Commanders are way above us. Last year, they're a playoff team. They got a quarterback. They're a team that's ready to compete for a championship. Let's be honest with it. The Commanders are that type of team. That's why they spent all that money on Scary Terry. They're a win right now situation. That's why Magic Johnson is their owner. Magic Johnson is a winner. He does that wherever he goes. Yep. He got the Dodgers, they're winning. Now he got the Commanders, they're winning. They're built. That's
what we thought was going to happen with Tom Brady, but it's going to take more than one season, obviously.
Exactly. And that's where we got to be realistic.
And
that's where Raiders fans are not realistic.
The offensive line, that's the worst part. And that's my bread and butter, and that's how I know Jason is too. It's like, why? Why did we not address the offensive line in more in depth during the offseason? It's like, what the fuck? That was the biggest blaring problem last season. We Colt Miller injured. JPJ and Glaze came out there. Parham was an issue all season long last year. The fact that he made the 53-man roster, let alone the starting spot at the left guard, blows my mind. Why did we not put competition in there for him and get someone else in there to beat him out? I just don't get why we're in that status quo with, we'll be okay. It'll work itself out. Like Pete said after the first preseason game, this will work in progress. Could take 2 weeks. Could take months, could be way late in the season before we figure this out. No, I don't want to hear that from you. That's the last thing I want to hear from my head coach, that you don't know what's going on with the offensive line. You think we still need to figure this out weeks down the road. Seriously? It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Here we are, week 3, and the offensive line is the worst unit on this team. The worst. By far the worst unit. And you're going to get your running back that you drafted, number 6 overall, killed. You're going to destroy this kid. This kid's going to get injured before the season's over if we don't address this line, because he's going to get worked to death, or he's going to get hit on a bad call, on a bad play, because someone crashes the line, and they're going to take him out because they can't hold back a simple defensive tackle. The simplest job in the world, I'm sorry, as an offensive lineman. It's easy. Block the guy in front of you. Don't let him by you. Play bodyguard is what you're doing. Just stop that guy. Don't let him through. And if you need help, you might have help. You might not. Other than that, you got to stop the guy. I know it's easier said than done sometimes, but I've played the part. I know what I'm talking about. If you can't stop somebody, you just shut the whole system right down. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. And my dogs are going crazy.
We are all in agreement that the offensive line is in shambles, that the offensive line needs help. That the right
tackle, but we knew this last season. That's the whole point. And we didn't address it.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. So how do we address that now, though? That's the thing.
Now it's too late.
Now it's too late.
What he just said, it's too late.
So is it that we don't have the players?
What's up, Dale?
Or is it that we don't have the coaching? Or is it a combination that we didn't have the players, and then we put the most rookie coach in one of the most important positions in football?
We've got the coaching. We just don't have them in the right places. That's the problem. You know,
And that's what I'm saying. I mean,
Brendan
like,
Carroll, I'm sorry, should not be the offensive line coach. He's actually
should-
the run coordinator, which makes him an actual
Have more
coordinator,
responsible.
which means he's being groomed for
to be a
future
coordinator.
positions, as Gravy explained to me last night when I was on with him. That's how you have to look at this. So he's the run game coordinator and the offensive line coach.
So tell
Well,
me like this: where's our run
remove
game?
him from that
Where's
shit.
our offensive line? Where's our run game? Where's our offensive line? Then Chip Kelly calling play action on third down when we have no run game. Tell me what's the logic in that? So that's where I keep going back to it. I'm looking at the O-line coach. I came on the show and I said it. I'm not calling for people's jobs, but I'm looking at people and I'm looking real hard. Because there's one position on this team that keeps messing up. It's the O-line.
Mhm.
We're struggling to move people. We're struggling to block people. Now you're telling me he's the run game coordinator.
He is.
How many yards are we averaging on the ground right now?
Well,
Not much.
At one point, we were averaging 1.1 yards per carry until the second half yesterday.
Which was worse than what we did last year for a whole season. We finished at 2.3 or 2.6?
Something like
Something
that.
like that last year.
2.6,
Either way, it was under 3 yards per carry.
Yeah. And if it wasn't for that one game with what's his name that wore number 8 for Abdullah, he was the only one that ran for 100 yards.
Rushed for 100 yards.
Yeah, so that's why I go back to that game. Is who was the offensive line in that game? What were we doing? You know, if that's the only thing that we got, if that's the only ingredients in the cabinet that we have, then we need to use those ingredients and hope we can have some semblance of success.
And I agree with you.
And
But
just
the
some
cook
semblance.
sucks. The cook and your sous chef suck. It's
Yeah.
like you can have the best ingredients.
I
But when
don't.
you-
I don't think Pete Carroll and Chip Kelly suck.
Well, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about your offensive line coach who's putting this offensive line out there.
Well,
Hey,
Joe,
we're
Can
talking
I
about the offensive
Can I
line.
just address this real quick from this G Warab? He says, all you podcast Raider fans are the same at the beginning of the year. It's, we're going to be good. We're going to compete year after year. Then 3 or 4 games, your brains are lost with, I don't know. All right, so I'm going to address this real quick. First of all, I did not feel that way going into the 2024 season. I thought 2024 season was going to be mediocre at best. I figured us to be at least a 500 team. Okay. Yep. This year, all the hype was there because of who was our coach, who we drafted, who our quarterback was, who we brought in free agency, who we let go. It looked like, and with the new owner and everything. So, yeah, there was a lot of hype all around that we were going to be a much better team this year. Okay. But certain things weren't addressed. And I said it the night of the draft. And anybody that watched that draft that night can attest for what I said and how I reacted. When we drafted Genty, I was ripped. I was pissed because I didn't think we were ready for a running back of his caliber without the proper offensive line. So I called that as far back as the draft. If you don't believe me, go back and watch the draft shows because we did all 3 of them. All 3 days we were live. And I said it then. I said we didn't address the offensive line. And then we come back in the second round and we take a wide receiver. We drop the ball again. We didn't draft an offensive lineman until the end of the 3rd or 4th round on Friday night. And I was finally a little bit happy. Oh, that was the 3rd round, right? I
third
forgot.
round, yeah. It was Saturday.
And I was happy at that point because we finally addressed
Friday.
the offensive line and we grabbed 2 guys right off the bat. But we grabbed them a little bit too late. We should have grabbed them sooner. So, yeah, I was still excited because of the direction we were going in. Genty grew on me a little bit because I saw what Pete Carroll was trying to plan, but it didn't work out. We didn't do any free agency moves, and I called that one also. If we don't do something free agency for offensive line, this team's we're gonna be in a bad spot. I've called it all fucking season long, all preseason. So don't sit there and say that I was all hyped. Yeah, did I think we were going to win more games this season? Do I think we were going to be 2-1 at this point? Yes, I did. Because I thought we were going to win that Monday night game. I had us pegged to win that one. New England, I had picked us to win. This one, I was 50-50 on. When Jaden Daniels wasn't going to play, I was giving us the win on this one. You know,
a chance to win.
I'm aggravated. Yeah, chance to win. I'm aggravated as a former offensive lineman at what I'm seeing out there. And it's just the overall just basic stuff that's just pissing me off that I just don't understand why this is happening. Yeah. Yeah. I literally took my hat off during when we picked Genty, and I just threw it across the room, and I sat here for about 5 minutes just staring at the camera, and I didn't say anything.
Yep.
Chris finally said, "Are you all right?" I said, "No." And then I went on my spiel after that.
As far as
Yeah,
me,
absolutely.
going back to the same topic, as far as me, when we drafted Genty, I kind of knew why we drafted Genty. He was the best player at that spot at the sixth position. And usually, first round, you try and score with the best player that you could get your hands on. Period. Doesn't matter. It goes back to when we drafted Brock
That was
Bowers.
real.
Everybody said, we need an offense lineman. But I'm telling you, when we drafted Brock Bowers, that was the best pick in that draft. Bar none. Even though we needed what we need versus what we can get our hands on are two different things. Okay, we got Genty. Now we need to address the offensive line, right? How are we going to do that? How are we going to address the offensive line? So going forward, as far as this year, we just got to work with what we got to work with. Staying on the same topic as all you Raider fans. No, don't do that shit because I've been around way too long. Okay.
Yeah.
My prediction, and you could go back to previous podcasts, I had a 6 to 8 wins and a more competitive team. Being more competitive. Being able to win games, be in a position to win the games, and not beat double digits every week. Well, guess what? We're out of 3 games, we gotten beat already twice by double digits. So maybe I'm wrong on that part. That's just an alias prediction that I throw out there. Everybody does it. But as far as being overhyped or, every year Raider fan says it's our year. No, we know what's right, what's wrong. And me and Jeff, as long as we've been talking about it, and I was happy when we drafted those 2 guys in the 3rd round, Jeff. I thought,
we both were.
Mm-hmm. Especially Caleb Rogers, because I've seen Caleb Rogers play, and he's got a dog in him, And I truly think it's not so much his ability; it's just he's raw.
And he's not a little dude either. He's a big boy.
He's a big dude, and that's why I even yesterday I mentioned in one of the chats. I said, at this point, why not put Lucky Tossi in at guard? At least he ain't going to get driven 5 yards back.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
yeah, he ain't giving up.
You ain't driving him. Yeah.
No.
He might get 20 holding calls, or he might false start because he doesn't understand the basic nuances of the game. But when it comes to Mongo hit guy, Mongo's going to hit guy.
Yeah.
Yo, hey, and I'm going to address this as well because I'm going to tell you to go back and look at the film, jackass, because we both said it. Hey, it's going to be an 8-9 season, maybe 10 wins at most. We weren't sitting here saying we're going to be a playoff team, anything like that. We do our research here. Hey, we said, hey, we're going to be a more competitive team. We want to see a bigger fighting spirit. Have we seen that out of the team? Yes, I've seen some fighting spirit. I've seen us try to stay in games. Did I say, hey, we're going to beat the Commanders? No, I did not have this as a win. Last week, did I have it as a win? No, I did not have it as a win. The first week, yes, I did have it as a win.
We all had great hope after that first game.
And I'm going to tell you like this. Game 1 or this next game, I do have this as a win. So I'm thinking the Raiders would be 2-2 at this part of the season. So, hey, go ahead, do your little click. Make sure you subscribe to our pages. Make sure you start following the videos so you can follow up with us and start talking some more shit. So let's go to the next.
Yeah, and Donut says it too. He says, this last offseason was a time to upgrade the interior offensive line. There were so many good IOLs available, and we didn't.
But let's be real, Jeff. We had so many holes on this team.
Oh, we did. But again, it all starts up front, plain and simple. That's the big thing. Because without that, the rest of you could have the world's greatest quarterback back there, and if that offensive line ain't giving him the protection to do what he needs to do his job, then having that great quarterback or that great running back there ain't going to matter. I don't even think Barry Sanders had this bad of an offensive line when he was in Detroit.
No.
I don't even think Barry Sanders could run with this line, to be honest with you. I see, and I've said this earlier that You know, the only one that could probably run behind this offensive line would be Barry Sanders. After yesterday, I don't think he could either.
Let,
He
let me tell you like this. Jay Downs hit the nail on the head when we said, hey, look at the year before situation. We drafted the best player available at that time, and we hit with gold. Powers was an absolute monster. You have a guy that just came off his best rushing season in college football, looking like a complete stud, looking like a complete cannot-miss player. Why wouldn't you take the same risk when he falls in your lap? Why wouldn't you try to repeat the same thing? The biggest issue is you guys are correct, is the offensive line. But when a quality player at that position falls to your lap, you can't pass him up. It's hard to pass up a guy like that.
I still would pass on him today. If the draft was today, knowing what I know about this team right now, I still would have passed.
Okay, so you would have passed up and we would have drafted an offensive lineman, correct?
Yep.
Let's say we drafted no lineman. But look at the coach. Look at the way that they're being coached up right now. Would that offensive lineman really make a difference right now on this whole line?
I mean, I get what you're saying there, but I would still. You didn't have to go for that shiny object running back with that first pick. Is what I'm getting at. You could have gone with an offensive line. You could have gone for. There were still plenty of great running backs in this draft. There were a ton in this draft. You could have grabbed one of those in the second round if you wanted to. You know, you could have gone offensive line, running back, wide receiver in the third round, and we still would have been fine. You would have gotten that offensive line. Look at some of these running backs that are rookies right now and how good some of them are doing.
I don't disagree with you.
Had a really good game yesterday. Scadaboo had a good game yesterday.
Agreed.
Korsky, the kid from Washington, he's an up and coming. You know,
Let's put it like this. Where's the guarantee? That's why I'm telling you. All these guys.
And where's the guarantee with Genty? We haven't seen it yet.
We haven't seen it.
Because our offensive line is trash.
Correct. But are we saying that Genty's the problem, or are we saying the O-line's the problem?
No, I'm not saying Genty's the problem. I am not saying he's the problem. It's the offensive line. But what good is having that top running back in the draft when you don't have the line that can get him used like you want to have him? Like you have visions of having him running like he did in Boise. You ain't going to do it with this offensive line. And people are like, well, he played in Boise. Yeah, he played in Boise against lesser talent. What happened when he went up against Penn State? They pretty much shut him down. And shut him down.
Really. They shut him down because the same way he's getting shut down now is he ain't got nobody blocking for him. He's still got 100 yards against him.
Again, that's just it, though, too, because the offensive line couldn't match up with that defense from Penn State. Right. So of course he got let. He didn't have the game that he had in the past.
So
against other less talent. So now
I'm not going to put it at the.
I'm going to
put
go
in the NFL against an inferior offensive line against top-notch defensive teams. Like if Khalil Mack didn't go down last Monday night with a dislocated elbow,
we're getting. But again, this is where I go back to it, Jeff. Like I love what Jay Downs said. We have the guys. I just really feel it's the coaching. I feel like they're not being coached up. They're not being told the correct things. And there might be a guy that's playing out of position, which is Jordan Meredith.
Some of the players are just that bad too. Parham is not good. Even when Philbin was there last
but he wasn't that bad. He wasn't as bad as he was right now. I mean,
he was pretty close. It was pretty close.
I mean,
it was pretty close. He had some pretty fucking he had some duds last year.
And Jordan Meredith looked a lot better last year than he did this year.
Hang on, I gotta give this for Furpo.
Raiders.
Nice, Furpo, nice.
So, I don't know. I mean, do we know what the answer is? No.
No.
The team doesn't even know what the answer is.
I really want to see. Hey, I'm on the train where I want to see JPJ get moved back to center. I want to see at least one of those positions solidified, and if it's going to be anything, the center needs to be solidified on the interior offensive line. It's the guy that leads the whole. Go ahead.
But they moved him from center for a reason, and it was shown in the preseason because when he was still playing center and Kappa was still playing right guard in preseason, it was Kappa that was calling the audibles at the line because JPJ wasn't getting him right. That's part of the reason why they moved him out of center. You can't have somebody playing center and then your tackle or your guard giving out the signals.
Actually, you
no,
can.
no.
Actually, a guard can be your
You can, but it doesn't work that well. You know what I mean?
Let me ask you this. Okay, so let me ask you this. Okay, you're saying, hey, it doesn't work well. How well is it working right now?
It's not.
So I'm like,
But and also
I'm
he
gonna
hasn't
go
been
like,
out for 2 games either. So I mean,
so and that's where I'm questioning a lot of things because I mean, like we keep seeing this guy get put back on the injury list, and then he comes back off, and then we say he's good, but he doesn't play, and he only played special teams, and you say, oh, it's because we didn't have any contact in practice, but our tackling is suffering during the game. So I'd be like, this is where I'm like, man, there's a lot of questions and a lot of answers that need to be answered by the coaching staff.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, a lot.
Lack of physicality comes because you're not being physical in practice. Because you don't practice that. Because you don't do things a certain way.
Well, just like Pete said this, in their press conference yesterday that they didn't hit at all last week because they only technically had 1 day of practice.
But that's an excuse.
I know it is.
That's an excuse. So even if you technically have 1 day of practice, then you better be bringing the fucking wood that day. I mean, like
they didn't do any physical practices last week at all.
No.
So have you guys heard of this terminology? You practice the way you play.
Mm-hmm.
If you practice like shit, you're gonna play like shit.
Yeah. So let's break down yesterday's game.
Okay.
In essence, and this is not an excuse, but it is technically factual.
It's starting to sound like one though.
No, I love it. Go ahead. Hit me with it.
Go ahead, Jason.
Shut up, Jeff. Commanders had 9 days of solid practice and preparation. We had 5. That's an advantage. That's 4 days advantage. Okay. And that's where a lot of that, you saw that in the special teams. That's where, because we got our ass kicked in special teams. But universally in the NFL yesterday, everybody's special team sucked yesterday. I don't know if you watched any of the other games. Yeah. We weren't the only one. There was a lot of kickoff returns and punt returns. And there was 3 games. There was 2 games, the Eagles game and the Jets game, back to back. I had them on a split screen up here. And they both had a block punt at the end of the game, or a block field goal at the end of the game. And it looked. At first, I thought I had the same game on one screen, and it was actually two games. It was crazy. So universally, yesterday the special teams sucked. Ours just happened to be the cream of the crop of sucking when we played yesterday, and that extra preparation. That's where some of the defensive adjustments that the Commanders were able to make to emphasize towards us. The Commanders basically ran the same concepts against us as what the Chargers did. They just took the Chargers game film and said, shit, we're just going to run that. Because that's all they're going to do. They're going to run long developing, moderate to long throws. They're going to expect Geno to sit back there for 2.5 to 3 seconds and read and scan the field. And so we're going to run a 4-man pressure with and delay the 5th and 6th man. So times have got to change.
After 1984, it's all been one excuse after another. It's true.
Nah.
So
and then what's up, Eric? What's going on, man? Yeah, no pass rush at all.
So I'll tell you like this.
What's up, Slamming?
And Jay Jackson brought it up earlier.
What's up, Chewy?
It looked like we were running the same thing over and over again and just getting beat up, doing the same. If you're a coach, we all played ball, right? It's 3rd and long. The run game isn't working. Why are we running play action? I'm going to ask another question. You see Marcus Mariota, you see Cliff Kingsbury, his mind exploded when he saw Marcus Mariota and we started doing different things. Why are we not running zone read with Geno Smith? Why are we not doing more things like that, which is in Chip Kelly's offense? It's in his repertoire. Why weren't we doing the same things to stress the defense? That stresses the defense when you have to worry about a quarterback running, about him throwing, about him doing all sorts of other things. Marcus Mariota looked like fucking Cam Newton yesterday.
Yeah, but Marcus Mariota's Marcus Mariota's closer to a tailback version of a quarterback than what Geno is. Geno can't take a hit like Marcus Mariota can.
Slide.
Now, I said it Saturday. I go, what was one of the keys to the game, Jeff? You got to keep Mariota from run option, not run pass option. He ain't gonna pass the fucking ball. He's gonna run. He's gonna either hand it to the tailback in the hole, or he's gonna pull it in. Soon as Max takes that jab step inside to go get the tailback, he's gonna keep it and boop right around the end. But fortunately, yesterday they only ran that play to the right side when they moved Max over to the left side, or when they moved Max to the opposite side. Then they ran it to the strong side of Mariota. That's when they were successful.
You know what?
Mariota had 6 carries for 40 yards, a long of 22, and he got a rushing touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
So he killed us with his feet.
Which also made those inside zone runs more effective, because now they got to respect Mariota taking the ball, keeping the ball, and going outside. So it's now if they got a 1-on-2 on the edge, with one blocker, it's an advantage. Do I tackle the running back or do I tackle the quarterback? Because how many times after they were starting to be successful, you started to see Max go, you know what, fuck it, I am just going to go hit Mariota. And that's what he would do. He would just run and he just hit Mariota. So make sure you're not gonna, if he's gonna have the ball, not you.
Exactly, and that's the way you have to play that. So it's a pick your poison type of play, right?
Yep.
If you tell your end to play the dive, you want your overhang to take the sweep. You want your guy to take the outside run. So what you do is you tell them, hey, you know what? You go hit the quarterback, so that way it forces the dive.
Well, that's like when we played. I don't know how old you are, Will, but back in our day, when I played, a lot of teams that we played ran a wing T or
triple option,
it was always option. So I played outside linebacker.
Delaware wing
and
T.
My only responsibility on a quarterback option, just hit the quarterback. Period. The end.
Mm-hmm. And you tell your end to go after the running back.
Mm-hmm.
Crash. You pick up the stuff on the outside.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you this, though. I'm going to tell you, I love Max's solution at the end. Run through the fucking running back to the quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be like, if that right there was an amazing thing at the end, I wish he would have figured it out before and started doing it from the very beginning of the game. And they used Max's aggression against him.
Yep.
If you can't block him, read him.
Yep.
Tell me why Chip Kelly can't do the same fucking thing. If we can't block the guy, why are we not just reading him? I'd be like, obviously we can't block 5-on-4. Maybe we can block 5-on-3.
Yeah.
But we're not looking at very many solutions, I think. Our offensive creativity is not as creative as I thought it was going to be. I don't know where you guys feel on that, but I feel our offensive ability is stifled because our run game sucks.
Yep.
So it's
because our O-line can't block. So it's just a vicious cycle. O-line can't block, running game's not working right. Geno Smith doesn't have the time to throw the ball. Offensive line's not blocking right. Running game's not good. Geno can't get time to throw the ball. It's just that vicious circle of the same shit over and over. Just like circling the wagons, and we ain't going anywhere. We're basically doing ring around the rosy, and it ain't fucking happening. We're all just falling down and doing nothing. So, it just... What's up, Mario?
Ring around the rosy bullshit.
And like, nobody's saying that nobody wants to give this coaching staff no time. Okay? Like, let's look at this, because I just saw on the chat, it says give the coaching staff 3 years. If it then, they can draft. Chewy, we love you, bro. We're not saying get rid of the coaching staff. We're saying that there are certain problems that we need to address, and the most important thing is offensive line. And we didn't say fire the offensive line or
no, he's not suggesting that. He's saying just give it 3 years and we'll be okay if the staff can draft.
Yeah,
right.
I'm not panicking on the coaching
if
staff.
we can draft right, yes. Do I think we drafted right this past season? No. I don't think we did.
I don't know.
I don't
Hard
think
to
we
tell.
did.
Yeah, right now we say it was a bad draft, but
Colton
I
Miller
said
was supposed to be a
So
terrible
I'm
draft.
on record as saying it from the start, so no one can ever say that I wishy-washy flip-flop
Yeah.
on anything. I said it from back then that we should have gone offensive lineman. Yeah, I wanted Mason Graham too at that point, but I started really looking at the offensive line, and I'm like, no, we really need to go offensive line. And I was fine with trading out of that sixth pick overall, move
That's what I
further back
wanted.
in the first round, go for an offensive lineman, get a second round pick, and hit your running back, wide receiver, or if you want to go for the best quarterback at that time, that was before Geno. Now keep that in mind. Then that's what I would have done.
So I think, Jeff, it's too early. I think we need another 3 years to evaluate what we do in this draft. Look at Colton Miller. People were saying that he was trash, that he wasn't the. Now everybody's over there telling us that he's the best offensive lineman that we got. I think we need about 3 years to evaluate this draft. And that's what I'm saying. I'm like, Miller was supposed to be a bust. People were saying that he was trash. I think we need a couple years to evaluate this draft, but I agree with you that our biggest glaring need as a team we did not address, which is offensive line.
Fuck you, Bueno. I did not want to trade it.
Well, hey, we already know who that was. That was James. Call James Bingham right there. Hey, right there, bro. Let him know what
Leo wanted him too. Leo was all for
oh,
shooting.
Leo had a jersey already made up and was ready to go.
Oh, yeah.
It was like,
I
hey,
like
so
James.
to kind of with
mention
Will and
for
Jeff
Brown.
here.
Go ahead.
I'm going to go out for a smoke. You guys
Okay.
keep talking it up. I'll be right back.
All right.
Jason, you can control.
Yeah, we're going to run your numbers up now. Watch. So I'm going to give a little pushback on this, on what Jeff was saying with the draft and saying it's been a bad draft. We don't know yet.
I agree.
Okay, we don't know yet, and there's certain principles to the draft. And a lot of coaches are different, and Bill Belichick was one of those too with his draft as well. A lot of these coaches that have been around a long time will tell you that even though you draft a person, it doesn't matter where you draft them, but the fact that you drafted him, you bring him in, you're bringing him in from the college level into the pro level. Okay. Early success for a rookie could be just as detrimental to the rest of their career as early failures. Okay. So if you put a rookie out there and he has a lot of early failures and like tons of failure, you have done a kid that probably had ultimate talent to be successful in the NFL. You ruined him. You ruined his psyche and you ruined his ability to get better, because now he's just constantly failing. There's no success. So sometimes, like with Jack Besh, I'm going to use Jack Besh as an example. He's a second round pick. I still don't think that was a bad pick. I really don't. And okay, well, he's not playing. Well, he's getting a play or two here on offense. Okay. And when he does, sometimes he catches the ball. Yesterday, he made a couple pretty good blocks on some run plays. Wasn't too bad. Okay. And he's doing fairly well on special teams. All right. But you got to give him little chunks of success and let him build off of that. Instead of just throwing him out, he's a second round pick, you put him out there. Why didn't you put him out there? It's a waste of a pick. Now, we knew when we brought him in that, at least us Raider fans, the coaches didn't know, but us Raider fans knew that we still got Tucker, who's going into his third year. Okay. We got Jacoby Myers. Brock Bowers is the key to our passing game to begin with. Okay. And we got Michael Mayer. And, Ginty out of the backfield or Mostert out of the backfield was going to be the key to our passing offense. We weren't looking for a juggernaut passing offense, but one that maybe could get us 24, 27 points a game, and then let our defense, let them bring their level of success up to us and make us a decent competitive team. You know what I mean? That's what I was looking for. What I saw yesterday, I hope to God that what happened yesterday lights a little fire into their ass going into the Chicago Bears game. And the Chicago Bears could look at the Commanders and go, you son of a bitch, you shouldn't have beat them so bad. It made it bad for us. You know what I mean? So
Absolutely.
Maybe they come out, a little fire under their ass, come out, and just, you know what, just knock the shit out of them. We don't care how many penalties you get. If you get an unsportsmanlike penalty or roughing the passer penalty or what, who cares? Fuck it. Go out there, win the game. Win the game. You know, just beat them. That's all. I don't even care if we win 3-0 next week. Just win.
It doesn't matter whether you win by
Yep.
1 point or 10 points or 100. Doesn't
Just
matter.
win. Just put one in our pocket, because the game after that, I don't like to look past the next one, but I had Indianapolis pegged as an easy win. Bullshit, that ain't no easy win. Them boys, Indianapolis is a legit, that Daniel Jones is rocking and socking, and Jonathan Taylor is no joke. You want to talk about generation talent, that he's generational talent.
100%. All right, so I'm going to go with you here, Jay Down. So I think we needed at least 3 years to evaluate the draft that we have had this year. To say that all these players are a bust or they're not good enough at this time, you know, we can't say whether they were drafted too high, too low, anything. There's not enough film. There's not enough time yet. I think for us to say, hey, these guys were drafted at a place, it's premature. It's something that I think all Raider Nation wants to do because we want to win right now. Like,
we're hungry
really,
for winning.
Yes. And really, players need about 2, 3, maybe 4 years to develop and to see what they can do. So, to be honest with you, I'm there with you that we need to just hold up and let things happen, see what they go down, and see where they need to be evaluated. Now, with Spytech and everything like that, what I will say is this, is that the way I'm going to evaluate Spytech is by how many players are on the roster in 2 to 3 years from now from this draft. Looking at players like Mellott, looking at players like Cam Miller, looking at players like our receivers right now, Hopkins. I'm looking at our right guard that we drafted in the 3rd round that we haven't seen. Our offensive linemen that you said, hey, we drafted these guys, but we haven't seen on the field. Will they be on the roster? Will they be making plays? That is what I want to see in 3 years. Will Genty be the guy that we drafted? Those are all the things that I will use to evaluate Spytech in about 2 to 3 years. But to do it right now is premature.
Way premature.
Hey, you know, these guys haven't hit yet. Peyton Manning didn't hit his first year. Guys like that didn't hit their first year.
No, there's a lot of guys that did not have success their first year, you know. And then let's go to C.J. Stroud. Let's use him as an example. He was rock solid his rookie year, wasn't he?
Yeah.
What are they? I believe the Texans are 0-3 this year.
And again, growing pains.
You know,
A guy that's being evaluated year by year to say, hey, well, just because he's having a rough year, does he automatically suck now?
But like I said earlier, is sometimes a guy can have early success in his rookie year, and then going forward, it hinder him. It becomes like, well, you know, next year, my sophomore, I ain't worried about no sophomore slump. Look what I did in my rookie year. You know what I mean? And and the next thing you know, they're not as good as they were their rookie year.
Well, let me ask you this. We just, in talking about that, Maxx Crosby came out and said, hey, in his first year, he really didn't like JPJ. But then in his second year, he's really seen JPJ come back and turn it up and like put in the work. Why is it that JPJ is not out there on the field? Why is he being held back? Why? And that's where I'm like, I have questions.
There has to be something in his practice films that they're seeing that just, well, This week, why he didn't play this? Obviously, he didn't play against Chargers because he had a concussion. He was in concussion protocol. He wasn't eligible to play because he was in concussion protocol. When did he clear concussion protocol this week? It was Thursday. That's when he cleared, right? So he was a full participant Thursday afternoon in practice. Okay. Well, they already have the game. They already had the game plan set at that point. Now, I don't mind the fact that they didn't start JPJ in that game because of that. Because it was a short week. They went ahead. They already had the people that they were the lineup that they had. They'd already been practicing. They had all the game film. They had all the preparation. The scripted plays they're already invested in the scripted plays and what the game plan is going into the game. All right. So that doesn't bother me that they didn't quote unquote start him. But somewhere in the middle of the second quarter, they should have went, okay, this is bullshit. I'm tired of my quarterback running for his fucking life. 58, get your helmet on, get out there, and then move. And I would have replaced I would have put him in Parham's position. I would have just put him at left guard. I mean, it just at least Kappa was getting beat, but it took a little while to beat him. Parham, he was getting beat the moment he broke the huddle. He was already beat.
So
I love it.
This is an excerpt from today's questions, right? It says, Pete Carroll, when asked if Raiders will make changes to the O-line, head coach Pete Carroll said, we need to keep developing. He added, they are working at the right guard spot. He wants to get JPJ back involved, but their young players like rookie Caleb Rogers are not ready yet. We have what we have, and we've got to make our guys do better.
We get it. Jay Down said it earlier. We got what we got. We have to make what we got work. But here's the thing. I keep going back to it. If we have the players, then it has to be the coach. It has to be your O-line coach that is not getting the information to your players. We keep saying, oh, we got to keep developing. I'd be like, if your coach can't develop players, then what the fuck are we developing? But bad habits, bad footwork, bad technique, inability to call out blocks, inability to do anything. So what are we developing? There's my question, right? Like, I look at it and I keep saying, hey, I don't feel like we don't have the talent on the O-line. I feel like we have the talent on the O-line to make a stand. I'm not going to tell you we got a 1,000-yard rusher sitting behind like anybody or that we run the football. No. You have to have a stud back there for us to do something like that. But I think, again, this is where I go.
Kyle.
Who's developing? This is the reason I believe that we're struggling. It's not that we don't have the talent.
Did you say who's the GOAT?
Coach them.
Did you say who's the GOAT?
No.
Oh, they said who's the GOAT.
No.
Well, I thought you were using it in the old school verbiage of the GOAT, which is, years ago, the GOAT wasn't a good thing to be called. Now it's like the greatest thing.
So go ahead. Hit us what it was back in the day. The GOAT.
Back in the day, GOAT meant you were the scapegoat. You were the reason they were bad, or you were bad. So you were the GOAT.
So I guess I think, in my opinion, I'm really looking at the offensive line coach to really say, like,
and I totally agree 100%. He's never coached in the NFL ranks before. He's been a college coach at best. And wasn't he what was he before in college? Was he an offensive line coach or was he defensive?
I have no
More
idea.
like a quality control coach.
That's
right.
So
what are his credentials to put him in that position other than the fact that his dad's the head coach?
And that's where I have struggled with. And that's you know what? I get it. You want to be a good dad. You want to bring up your son. I'll be like, my son's coaching now. And I enjoy that my son's coaching. But at the same time, I go like, hey, you know what? Like, you got to cut your own teeth. You got to grow in this game. Make him a quality control coach. Make him something where, hey, you're learning under somebody. I don't give a fuck if you're 30, 40 years old. This is the NFL. Head coaches are 65, 70. I'm like, you're young in this game if you're coaching at 40.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
got plenty of time to develop
Rick
as a
Ross?
coach.
Yeah. You don't have to be the next McVay. You don't have
Mm-mm.
to be the next freaking Shanahan. Hey, you're the next Pete Carroll's son. And
But does Brennan Carroll have the gumption to go to Joe Philbin, pull Joe Philbin inside and say, hey,
hell no.
what am I doing wrong?
Jay,
Where do we?
He don't got the. I don't think. I'm going to tell you like this. If I was the guy, I'm looking for questions. I'm answering. If you have those type of coaches around you, and you're a good coach, you're curious. Good coaches are curious. You're looking for that information.
Yeah.
So I would be in that guy's fucking hip pocket, trying to learn as much as I could. But then there's some coaches that want to have swagger, that want to feel like they know everything, and those are the bad coaches. Those are the guys that can't ever learn from anybody else, that they think they know everything, that they, oh, you know what, I've been doing it like this since I've been brought up. And, I'd be like, I've seen those guys.
Yeah.
But the good coaches, man, are always curious. They're always willing to learn. They're always willing to adapt. They always want to have a little ace up their sleeve.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I'm like, man, I really don't feel like he's going to the other guys around him and using them. And if we are, then shame on us. Then shame on Phil. Because this is what you're putting out as a experienced head coach and an experienced guy, then we have a lot more problems than we really think.
Yeah.
I just didn't think the offensive line was going to be this bad.
I didn't see
Because I actually saw some improvement in them last year. Towards the end of last year, I saw some improvement. And like I said, that we had that. I think it was week 15 or 16 that Abdullah got 100 yards. We were running. We had like 150 yards rushing that game. And it was like okay, we kind of got it. But I mean, who was the offensive line at that time? I mean, we had JPJ at left guard, Miller at left tackle. He was finally healthy. JPJ at left guard. We had AJ or whatever the hell his name was at center, and Meredith at right guard, and Glaze at right tackle. So, I mean, there's 4 of the 5 guys right there that are on this line this year that played last year in that lineup, the way it was set. And it's just like, really in all honesty, the offensive line, they're doing this experiment. Everybody calling it experiment. There's no experiment. You think a baseball manager experiments with his lineup? No. You're going to put the fastest guy is going to be the number 1 hitter, and the guy that can stroke it out of the park is going to be the number 4 hitter. Boom. Yep. That's it. You do the same thing with the offensive line, with our offensive line. You put the guys in the position that they're best suited for. Is JPJ a better center than he is guard? Well, he proved it last year. We know that. But what has happened since then has caused this to happen. And we know he's he's been there all offseason this year versus last year. He wasn't with the team in the offseason. He wasn't even active till the second week of the season last year because he had that concussion in the OTAs and it just lingered all the way through, which that's another story, but it lingered through training camp and he really wasn't available until the second game of the season. This year he's been there the whole year. What has happened? What changed from last year to this year? And is it because he wasn't making the right calls? Really? There are so many different. You can. I mean, when I played,
the answer. That's the downside.
When I played in high school, our center didn't make the calls. The guards made the calls. The quarterback told us which direction we were going, and that guard was responsible for the call. So if we were running it to the right, the guard was the one. The right guard was responsible for the call, or to the left guard was responsible for the call. And then each guard, if it was the right guard's turn to make the call, the left guard would make a dummy call so the defense didn't catch on to it.
Right, Pete. I'm saving thousands now that I've canceled game trip to Indy and game trip to Vegas. Just not worth my family's money, time, and effort.
Yeah, that's a sad thing.
And I'm going to tell you what, Raider Pete.
I mean, for me,
feel
I
bad.
would still be going to Vegas if I had a trip planned because I've never been, so I would still be going. I mean, even in the last week, I've solidified that I am definitely going to Philly. So the wife and I are going to Philadelphia. It's a 4.5
Let's go.
So we're going to drive down. So, I mean, if I had the time to go, I would have actually probably gone to the Washington game. That's an 8-hour drive for that. But if they were playing Baltimore or New York this year, I'd probably be going to those games too. Definitely New York. Next year, we're playing the Jets, by the way, in New York.
So I'm going to tell you like this, Raider Pete. Like, I feel bad because the team is losing and the struggles of Raider Nation is tough. But when you go on a trip, man, and you go on these things, guys, don't make it just about the game. Make it about sharing time with your Raiders family, with the people around you. Make those type of memories because those type of memories are going to last longer and they're going to like really make the game stand out. And I've really taken to that now that I travel more. I'll be like, I've been traveling to more games. I went to see the game with Jeff. What made that game special besides the win, was just seeing Jeff in person and hanging out with him and experiencing different things.
Fun.
And that's really
weekend.
What it's about.
And that's how I started the show off today too, Will. I said, as down as everybody gets and people don't want to travel for games, I said, people, LV Gear reached out to me yesterday. He goes, what a shit game. He goes, but I would have still come anyway. He goes, just because of meeting everybody and hanging out with Raider fans. And I said, that's what it's all about. In all honesty, it's not so much the game. Yeah, the game is the added bonus to it, especially if we win. Like everybody that came out here to New England got to experience the win out here on the East Coast. That made that trip even better. It made it worthwhile, But what really makes it is just the camaraderie of being around so many other Raider fans, and you make these connections and these friendships, that, Will and I were friendly to begin with, and so was myself and Mike from Raiders Against the World. But once you finally get to meet them and hang out with them and sit and talk and enjoy their company, you become genuine friends with people. You got someone that you're going to be friends with for the rest of your lives. Even though I've never met Jason in person, Jason Downs, I know that if him and I met up somewhere and sat down, dude, we would have been like best friends since we were kids type of thing, because we got the same mentality. There's just a lot of things in common, and it's not just the Raiders in common. It's just life in general sometimes.
We kind of travel down the same road.
As
humans.
Experiences that you can't put a price on. Those experiences is what it comes to, I guess. It might cost you a couple grand to go away for a weekend or whatever. So treat it as a vacation too, with the bonus of going to a football game while you're on vacation. So that's kind of how you have to look at this. It's not so much because the team sucks, but just everything you get out of that experience. Like going to Philly. I know we don't have a legit shot to beat Philadelphia, but I'm still going. Hotel's already booked. We're going to go down there and we're going to have a good time.
Yeah, nothing's better than taking a Buffalo Bills fan, shoving them in a porta potty and duct taping it shut. That was fun.
And I'd be like,
"What's up, brother?" He goes, "I feel bad enough spending the $300 for Sunday." Yeah, but you know what? I go to the bar and watch all the games. I still get the Sunday ticket. You know why? Because on times where we're playing like a primetime game or whatever, come Sunday, I can watch any game I want. So if I don't want to get stuck watching the Patriots play like the Cleveland Browns, I can watch like the Rams and the Eagles yesterday. That was a great game.
Yeah.
If I would have paid attention to that game, I would have been thoroughly entertained because that was a great game. Two powerhouse teams in the NFC playing each other, So I love my Sunday ticket. I still get it. I still have it.
and I mean, like, it's been really cool, man. Like I tell people, traveling with the nation, and I mean, like, I travel with my wife. Sometimes I travel with my kids. I'll be like, we try to get out as much as we can.
Maybe I'm the good luck charm. Maybe we will win in Philly.
Yeah, I hope so. I'll be like, shoot, we start freaking putting Jeff in the seats every freaking game we go to.
To reach out to Mark Jones.
We can win that game.
I think we can win any game. It's any given Sunday, right? Like
we can win that game.
At the end of the day, but at
the Browns beat the Packers yesterday.
Hey, you ain't lying. Yeah. But let's put it like this. if you're looking at the sheet right now and it's a game like you're making your win-loss record, you're not putting Philly down as like very far, and few people are putting down Philly as a win. You know,
I always say we're going to win just because of me being a diehard Raider. I'll never pick us. I won't pick us to lose. When I look at it in a logical sense, like when I looked at the schedule, when I went through it with Chris before the season started, and we did the win losses, I put it to reasoning on how the team looked and everything. That I gave us losses and wins, but every week, regardless, I still pick us to win. Like I do a pick'em league. I never pick us to lose. I always pick us to win because the times we do win, I'm one of the only ones out of like 40 people that are in that pick'em league that pick the Raiders to win.
I'm so biased, I can't do it either. I do the same fucking thing.
And if I know it's going to cost me,
I always have to put the lowest amount of points in the pick'em league or whatever it is because we have a points like pick'em league.
Yeah.
If it's the Raider game, it has to be the lowest points because I'm going to pick the Raiders automatically. So it doesn't even fucking matter.
The one thing that I don't do is I don't bet on the Raiders.
Oh, I can't bet on the Raiders either. I'm notoriously bad.
Ain't nothing worse than losing money and losing a game at the same time. It just makes it worse.
I have that rule too, man. I cannot bet on the Raiders game. Nope.
Hey, Caleb, if you're going to that Phillies game, hit me up on Instagram or whatever. I'll let you know. Just keep an eye on me on Instagram because once they start
that's going to be hot,
stuff that the Black Hole's going to be doing down there, I'll have all the hookups on all the parties and everything. I already got the hookup for the hotel that most of the fans are going to be staying at. So that's where I got my room booked already.
I'm telling you, man, we're bringing the heat to that fucking cold city. It's going to be burning up. You're going to see a badass tailgate. You're going to see
I'll still be there in shorts no matter how cold it is.
A public service announcement. We will be opening up a GoFundMe account for Jeff for his bail ticket.
Yeah.
Just in case we need to post bail for him at Lincoln Financial Stadium.
So make sure that
if anybody's interested, we're taking softly used clothes. We'll even take undergarments if they're still in the package.
I will. I don't wear underwear. I will. No, I'm kidding. I will give you a full report of what the Philadelphia Eagles stadium jail cell looks like. Oh, where'd Will go?
Yeah, he just said, "I gotta go."
Bye, Will.
Yeah.
No, I don't anticipate any problems there. Wink, wink.
Nah. It's not a natural rivalry, so usually you don't have issues like that. It's the regular rivalry. Some of the worst games that I saw at the Oakland Coliseum were between the 49ers and the Broncos. And I saw a guy at a Raider game, and it was during warm-ups. He's got this brand new Broncos starter jacket on, real beautiful, people booing him. And he threw both fingers up at the crowd that was booing him. That was a mistake. That starter jacket flew from the second deck all the way out to the field.
Oh.
And he wasn't in it.
Well, it's a good thing he wasn't.
Yeah. Two guys threw him on the ground, ripped it off of him, and threw it out on the field. He took off running. We don't know where I think he's still running down I-80. This is 20 years later.
What's up, Johns Hopkins? He goes, "Hi, fellas. I'm sorry, but the Raiders got cooked by not making a blockbuster trade for Crosby. This should have been the real rebuilding season." And that's what I've been saying.
You know what?
When he started crying about, "I got no money. I got no guaranteed money," I said, if teams come a-calling, you answer the phone and you listen to what they're offering. Because if you can take it and run with it, this was before the draft, take all the picks you can get for it.
Yeah,
and talk about rebuilding a team fast. Good God.
Yeah. Yeah, because he's worth at least 2 picks. At least 2 top 50 picks.
Hey, look we've screwed up the coaching staff and the front office fucked up with the draft picks we got for the Khalil Mack trade. All right. That was the year that we should have really had a rebuild. This team would have been set if it was done right, but it wasn't. I would trust this regime that's in charge now if we would have made that trade, trading Crosby away and getting 2 first-round picks on top of our current first-round pick. So that would have given us 2 picks in the first round and possibly additional picks in the second or an additional third rounder too. Think of what we could have built. Just think about it. It would have been insane.
Yeah.
Absolutely nuts what we could have put together. With the talent that came out in this past draft, oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Cheesesteak calzone. I did hear the trick on that, though. You don't, when you're in Philly, you don't go to a place that advertise where they say, we got the best Philly cheesesteaks. No, you just want to go to a place that just advertise cheesesteaks. Anybody that says Philly, they're not going to be good.
Actually, the trick to
cheesesteaks.
The trick to that is
from a Philly guy.
You look for the restaurants that sell the cheesesteaks, right? You drive by, and if there's a long line outside, you know they're good.
Yep.
Go stand in line.
Yep. If the place is empty, stay away.
Stay away.
Yeah, and you're right, Bueno. His value is dropping, and that's the thing. You ain't going to get shit for him. Because I tell you, it's going to get to a point where he's going to be like, I've had enough of this now. It's like, someone's going to start crying enough to be like, in the middle of the season, I want to be traded, because they see the writing on the wall. This is just not a good place right now. What's up, Jay?
Hey, the 49ers are 3-0, and they just lost Bosa for the rest of the year.
I get it. Hey, for the right price.
Yeah.
Give us hey, you can keep your draft pick. We'll trade you Crosby for your best offensive lineman. How's that? I don't care if it's a left tackle. I'll take it.
Their left tackle is what's his name? 71. I picture the name.
Williamson?
No.
Well,
probably one of the best left tackles in the NFL, but he's old. You know what I mean? He's like 12-year veteran.
We'll take that center. We'll take that center or their right tackle. I don't care.
Yeah, the center's pretty good.
Too, Get it now while he's still hot and before he gets hurt.
Yep.
Before
Why not? Well, the 49ers are making phone calls for defensive ends. Because once they got the news that Bosa was going to be out with his ACL, and I'm pretty sure they're going to move on from him after this.
Hey, I'm sure they could probably get Von Miller for a decent price from the Redskins.
Yeah, but Von Miller's he's a designated hitter. They put him in 10 plays a game, and that's pretty much it.
Bosa's kind of a designated hitter too. He's hit or miss.
He's not.
I'm sorry.
He's a 2 or 3 down. He plays 2 or 3 downs per.
As a Lions fan, there is no fast rebuild. It takes at least 3 seasons. Oh, no, I get that, but it's just this offense, this line is just, it's a sieve, and that's being kind.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically a hole in the bottom of a barrel, and you're trying to fill it up, and it ain't gonna fill.
Like 5 holes in the bottom of the barrel.
No, I mean like no bottom of the barrel at all. Just hold the barrel up here, fill that up. I can't.
It's like pouring gasoline in a styrofoam cup.
It just melts right out.
Has anybody ever done that in the chat? Don't do it. I highly suggest don't do that.
No. The fumes alone will hurt you.
You make a mess.
Would you trade Crosby to the Niners right now for 2 first rounders? Hell yeah.
Yep, I would.
What's up, El Raider? What's going on, brother?
We're going to have the same success on defense with or without Maxx Crosby.
Yeah. Yeah, seriously.
Be quite honest with you. There's going to be some wild plays. You go, he chased that guy all the way from the left side to the right side and tackled him. Ooh, that was a really good tackle. And then 20 plays later, hey, anybody see Max? Yeah, he's out there.
He's on the milk cotton again.
So, and I'm not, by no means am I trying to strike at Max, because he's the most
valuable right now. But that's just it.
And is he the face of our franchise right now? Yeah. But I sure wish we had a quarterback of equal stature.
You're damn right, Jay, I would.
you know, Jeff would trade Max for magic beans and no. 5 magic beans and a month's supply of Dunkin' Donuts.
Ooh. A month? No, gotta be more than that. Trade away
Okay.
Maxx Crosby. That should be lifetime coffee.
Yeah, you're just trying to get lifetime coffee.
Yeah, I am.
You're just trying.
Which reminds me, I'm almost empty.
Yeah, I got to go downstairs and here in a minute. But I appreciate you letting me come on for Monday Morning Quarterback. I know I ain't as good looking as Chris, but
Well, that's why you keep the dark camera. Hey, your old dark can't see.
actually, you know what it is? It's the way the light is coming from behind me. I don't have any light right here.
You need some lights in front of you.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm gonna fix that because
Let's put it this way: if I didn't do the show with lights on,
well, I mean, I could turn. I don't have. I need. All I need is a light behind. I know I have this stupid thing, but it doesn't work. I have lights
Even
under the desk.
even just the one light, it's just the shadows on one side of my face.
Yeah, so.
I want everybody to see my beautiful face fully
There's-
when I'm on camera.
But I am going to readjust and reposition and have a light behind my camera that will. But then again, if you ask Bueno or Accelerator or any of those guys in the chat, they're like, we like JD dark. As soon as you brighten him up, he gets ugly.
Yep. Yeah, look what Campbell did. He had Goff, then built up the O-line while picking out Gibbs, Laporta. They knew exactly what the steps they wanted and needed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we got the quarterback. We've got the running back.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is we put the cart before the horse.
Yeah.
That's the big thing with the
But
running
they
backs.
too, they got some picks from the Rams in the Goff Stafford trade too, so that helped them build. They got and they hit on their draft picks. You got to hit on the draft picks.
Yeah, they did. They hit on their draft picks. Well, have we? We don't know yet. We don't know if we've hit on our draft picks from this past season or this past draft. Genty showing signs. Thornton, he's hit or miss. Betch, absolutely not. I'm still going down and saying that was the worst second round pick I think I've seen us have in a long fucking time.
Yeah.
Seriously, if Jeff goes to a Raiders game versus Squeeze when we win, I'm sending him a Dunkin' Donuts gift card straight to Rhode Island. I got no way of going. I'm not going to a Chiefs game.
Then you got Cool Kev in there. Cool Kev coming in hot on me.
Jason looks like he's doing a Dateline show. Yeah. You need that voice changer.
Yeah.
I wanted to do this earlier, but this is how I felt at the end of the game yesterday.
Yeah.
It's pretty much accurate. I mean, it's like you just wanted to scream. It's like, what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah, I went and got my wife's tweezers and started pulling my hair out. I just pulling my
Margin of victory, amount of coffee I put on the gift card. Well, we better win by more than one. I remember when the Lions were pissed because Campbell drafted Laporta. Yeah, you don't see many Lions fans upset right now.
Laporta's right there in that conversation with Bowers. When he came, he fell in their lap. It was like, you can't pass that kid up.
Oh, no. Yeah.
You can't pass it. And look at what Tyler Warren's doing. Well, you're going to see Tyler Warren in a couple weeks. You'll see. That kid is legit.
See, and this is the other thing, too. Like Eagles can consistently draft O-line and develop them. I don't have any confidence in us developing our offensive linemen with who's currently in charge of that squad.
Yep.
I mean, he's obviously can't do it with the guys that are here, and they're all veterans. There's no rookies out there on that five-man line. Now you got 2 second-year players, but other than that, they're still not considered rookies. So these are veterans. These are guys that have gone around already, and you can't even get them in line with their past experience and their knowledge of the position. If Parham, I just don't. I know I keep going back to Parham, but it's like I just don't fucking get it. How you still consistently try and put him out there. There's no competition from him, but Pete Carroll sits there and says there's still competition for right guard. What the fuck am I missing? What am I missing? Does Parham have dirt on Pete Carroll and Pete Carroll's son? Is there something that he knows that no one else should know that's going to get them in trouble or something? I mean, why is this guy still starting?
Is there a personality? Has there been some type of personality conflict between Brennan Carroll and JPJ that occurred in that relationship that just ain't going to be fixed?
I don't know. It all seems like from the moment when he walked in the door and with the whole, to Genti, I'm your center. It just since then it just hasn't felt right. Something was off. We've got questions and we're not getting any answers, and that's what bugs me.
One of the things that I learned too, growing up, maybe you can attest to this when you were growing up as well, with the different style of coach. There were coaches, I don't know if you had coaches that were like this, but we did when I played. We had coaches that, they just love this guy. They think he's the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Because he hustles, he picks up all the bags after practice. He's the first one in line. Yes, sir. No, sir. Kissing the coach's ass. Let me wash your car this weekend, coach. I'll wash your car this weekend, coach, and doing all that shit. And the other guy that's next to him kicks his ass every time in every drill, but he's not playing.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. I had guys like that, definitely.
So I'm wondering if maybe that might be the circumstance here, that we've got a bunch of guys they're practice queens, and then when the lights get turned on, they curl up. Or maybe JPJ is quote unquote, and this is what they used to accuse me of, and when I played was, you're just a gamer. You go half-ass in practice, and then when the game comes on, it's like, yeah, but we won, didn't we?
Yeah.
So I think we practice to win. We don't practice to practice.
Or you had the kids that were practice warriors where they practiced their ass off and they got in the game and they were just like, dude.
Oh, yeah, they were lost. See, I was the opposite. I was one of those guys
that be like, oh yeah, you're playing today, and you get out there, and the guy would just,
I would walk from drill to drill instead of running, and everybody else is sprinting, and the coach is yelling, hustle, 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 and I'm like, okay, well, when I get over there, I'm gonna beat the shit out of that guy that's gonna line up against me anyway. So what's the point? At least let him have some enjoyment before we get over there and start butting heads, And then when we get in the game, I swear to God, man, I'll never forget the coach yelling at me, "You're just a gamer. That's all you are, is just a gamer." And I'm looking and I'm like, yeah, but we won.
Thanks, Mikey. We appreciate that.
That's all that matters. But you do have to. I did learn now that I know now what I should have known then, is you should still your preparation and practice for football is very important.
Oh God, yeah. But there's something I wanted to say too, and I fucking lost when I went to this man.
Mikey G, you would pancake me? Yeah, we'll get you a pancake, all right?
Offensive tackle, offensive guard out of Omaha.
Right on.
Well, I guess I'm going to call it.
Yep.
In 2.5 hours.
Sounds good.
Thank you for coming on with me. And
I appreciate it. Anytime you need me to fill in any of the shows, just let me know ahead of time.
Yeah, I just wanted to come on and start it off alone. I figured you were going to pop up at some point. So
it's okay, but I will never call you a loner. Okay, never call you a loner.
It just felt nice to do a little bit by myself. Yeah. I'm always with someone else on screen. Yeah. So,
but when you're the superstar, sometimes you got to be a superstar by yourself.
There we go.
I even changed the lyrics to the song.
What's up, Ernest? We have
Been fun,
14
though.
more weeks of this crap. Hopefully not. Yeah, exactly. Later, Hell Raider. All right, everybody. Thank everybody for being in the
Raider
chat with
Nation,
us.
thank you guys. Bueno,
thank-
Cook, Weber, Mikey G.
Hope I was able to fill your afternoon with some fun talk about
Yep.
our awesome Raiders offensive line, because I seen what this was. It was just like a bashing on the offensive line. You know what it was? I really needed to get on here and do this today, this Monday morning quarterback thing, because I can't talk about this tomorrow night on the Most Notorious podcast. I have to keep a straight edge on Tuesday nights, because that's more talking about Black Hole, the Black Hole organization, the games coming up and events going on and promoting the Black Hole.
Yeah.
So I can't really vent about how bad I think the team is.
Yeah.
So you will never see me do that on a Tuesday night, talking shit about the team. But on Wednesday nights and Thursdays and all the other shows I do, oh hell yeah. Tuesday nights is the only night that I'm more geared towards like talking about the Black Hole. So, but
I came on today with you because I tried to make an appointment with my shrink and he wasn't available, so I needed to get out somehow.
So we were your therapy session today.
This was therapy.
Me
for
in the
me.
chat and Will.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thank you for being with me for the last 2.5 hours. I appreciate everybody in the chat. Thank you all. Jason, thanks for coming on with me, and
You're
to my guy
so
Will
welcome.
for coming on and spending some time with us. So we'll, Jay, I'm sorry, I wasn't even thinking about that. I was just in the zone today. Took me an hour and a half to set the studio up because I kept falling asleep as I was typing it up. I was in a bad spot this morning.
I'll get with you later, Jay.
So, yeah. So that's the end of today. And thanks for the super chat that I got earlier. I appreciate that. And as I always say, everybody stay safe and go Raiders.
Raiders.